Roar tilde tilde tilde. Hearing the sound from the fostering room, Xian slightly rose from the counter, scratching the itch behind her ear with her hind paw. Next, she turned her attention towards the direction of the rest room. Strange, usually at this time, beast masters waiting outside would react differently due to the peculiar noises of the pet beasts. Why did this beast master guest show no reaction? Oh, he's wearing headphones, no problem then. Watching Zhang Yun in the rest room listening to music and snacking with his headphones on, Xian shifted her gaze away, yawned out of boredom. Such a killjoy. Time passed by the second. The continuous strange noise from the fostering room made Xian fidget uneasily. Strange, why has this noise been going on for so long? Speaking of, it's been a while since the beast master groomed me, right? A thoughtful expression crossed Xian's face. Looking into the mirror next to her, she felt she was considerably dirtier now compared to just after her grooming. Well, she'd better remind the beast master later. It was time to groom her. She couldn't just focus on grooming others' pet beasts and forget about her own. Creak tilde. The door of the grooming room opened. Amid the mist, Su Ran emerged step by step, followed by the stone-armored dragon with a bewildered expression and wavering steps. Your stone-armored dragon is groomed. Seeing Zhang Yun wearing headphones in the rest room, Su Ran went up and patted his shoulder. Oh good. Zhang Yun removed his headphones and turned to look at his pet beast. The next moment, he couldn't help but widen his eyes. Is this his pet beast? The stone-armored dragon now had every piece of its stone scales polished to perfection, no gaps between the scales and seamlessly fit together. The surface was even waxed, reflecting light like a gemstone under the illumination. The irregularly structured scales were tightly compacted now, making the stone-armored dragon appear as though it had slimmed down by a bit. But this transformation didn't detract from its imposing presence at all, instead highlighting its muscular figure and creating a sense of power. This was the first time Zhang Yun had seen his stone-armored dragon like this. No other store's grooming service could achieve this effect. They wouldn't even polish the stone scales. He stood in place for a long time before reacting. How much did it cost again? 66,666 yuan. Seeing Zhang Yun grabbing his cell phone ready to scan the payment QR code, Su Ran interrupted hurriedly. You've already paid. Oh right. Zhang Yun finally remembered that he'd already paid before the grooming. He couldn't help it. Such impressive grooming results made him feel like it's completely worth it in an instant, and he subconsciously wanted to pay once more. It seemed like his experience was truly limited. There were indeed grooming services that were worth every penny of the high price. Zhang Yun felt he'd gained valuable knowledge. However, next, a thought came to his mind. Since the expensive grooming service was worth its cost, then what about the fostering service here, which was also much pricier than anywhere else? Can you show me around your fostering facilities? Zhang Yun suddenly asked. Of course, no problem. Su Ran nodded. Follow me. Meow tilde, I'll guard the store. Xian meowed lazily, watching as Su Ran led Zhang Yun and the stone-armored dragon toward the back door, before shifting her gaze away. She wondered if the recent grooming session gained any new skills. She'd have to ask later, and also remind the beast master about grooming her. Leading Zhang Yun and the stone-armored dragon into the underground passage to the fostering area, Su Ran looked at the personal panel that only he could see before him, slightly frowning. Host Su Ran. Contract power first stay. Contract pet beast, Xian view details. System skills. Plucking fur C level. Drug application D level. Pet beast skills. Ice storm. Rock eruption. Physical point 0. Pleasure value 9863. System upgrade experience 301,000. Just one grooming session with the stone-armored dragon resulted in over 3,000 pleasure points. His total pleasure points are now sufficient for 110 consecutive draw. However, this isn't the focal point for Su Ran. He looked at the new skill he had gained from plucking fur, rock eruption, and found himself considering a problem he hadn't thought of before. That is, handling useless skills. The skills acquired through grooming are random and out of Su Ran's control. Some of these skills share the same attributes with Xian, or don't have any attributes and therefore can be taught to Xian, while other skills simply cannot be taught for various reasons such as differing attributes. These skills might be useful once Su Ran contracts with a pet beast of the same attribute, but as of now, they are useless. He cannot possibly refuse to groom or give up an opportunity to gain plucking fur experience just because a client's pet beast has a different attribute. Hence, the amount of useless skills will inevitably increase. It's like storing a bunch of junk in a warehouse long term. There will be problems down the line. To solve this, Suran considered that there might be two solutions. The first is to find a way to deal with these useless skills via the system, but as it stands, it is unknown if the system has such a method, and it likely won't respond to queries. In other words, leave it up to fate. The second is to rely on himself. By contracting with pet beasts of differing attributes in the future, he can reduce the number of useless skills and maximize the function of plucking fur. Your foster area sure is large. Zhang Yun looked around as they entered the foster area and couldn't help but exclaim. His remark brought Su Ran out of his reverie. The problem with useless skills isn't urgent. He should focus on his present guest. The environment of our foster area can be adjusted and changed, Su Ran explained with a smile. If you choose to leave your pet beast with us, we will designate a specific area and modify it to fit its needs perfectly. As he spoke, he took out the control hub and changed the landscape beneath their feet to a formation of undulating rocks, right in front of Zhang Yun's eyes. Impressive, Zhang Yun admired. During his visit to the Beast King foster shop, a staff member mentioned similar technology and said their shop would soon introduce such tech. The Beast King foster shop only promised, but this foster shop has actually done it. Just based on this, Zhang Yun felt that the higher foster fee was somewhat justified. What kind of food would you feed my pet beast if I foster it here? All of it is personally prepared by me. This is our preparation room, specifically used to prepare meals for the pet beasts each day. Su Ran led Zhang Yun into the preparation room and was once again greeted with his admiration. There's now only one question left. Which pet beasts are currently staying in your shop? Zhang Yun asked earnestly. He wanted to see how the neighbors of the stone-armored dragon would be after it is fostered. Currently, we have two beasts being fostered. That armored rhinoceros. Su Ran pointed at the armored rhinoceros basking in the sun by the mud pond, then gestured to the shadow chaser lizard peeking out from nearby rocks, and this shadow chaser lizard. Seeing that familiar shadow chaser lizard, Zhang Yun raised an eyebrow. Chapter 50, The Story of the Shadow Chaser Lizard. Isn't this Joe Hao's shadow chaser lizard? It's actually in your shop. Zhang Yun's words abruptly interrupted Su Ran's speech. You know this shadow chaser lizard? Yeah, I can't possibly overlook that scar near its left eye. Zhang Yun pointed at the shadow chaser lizard. I know the beast master of this shadow chaser lizard. Su Ran blinked a couple of times. Having been in contact with the shadow chaser lizard for 3 days, he naturally knew about the distinct scar near the left eye. Zhang Yun recognized it immediately, enough to prove that his recognition was without error. An idea suddenly popped into Su Ran's head, who previously had been contemplating how to comfort the shadow chaser lizard. This customer knows the beast master of the shadow chaser lizard. That being the case, did he know anything about what happened between the shadow chaser lizard and its beast master? Speaking of which, this shadow chaser lizard is quite pitiful. Zhang Yun sighed before transferring the payment on his cell phone. I'm paying you 66 yuan per day, a week's fosterage fee in advance. Please take good care of my stone-armored dragon from now on. Beast King Foster Shop, you are supposed to be the best in fostering. Okay. Su Ran gratefully received the payment, but he left the proper arrangement of the new pet aside and went on to ask, Mr. Zhang Yun, could you tell me about the situation of the shadow chaser lizard and its beast master? To tell you the truth, beast master of this shadow chaser lizard did not leave any contact information. The lizard's mood has been low since it arrived. I want to comfort it and cheer it up, but I have no idea about the details. Zhang Yun gave Su Ran an approving look. Voluntarily providing comfort to a foster pet with low spirits is not part of the foster care services. The fact that Su Ran was willing to do so showed that he had made the right choice. Since you want to know, I'll tell you briefly. Zhang Yun glanced at the time. Since he didn't have to go to the Beast King foster shop, he had some time to spare. Then Zhang Yun briefly explained to Su Ran what he knew. After the conversation, Su Ran looked enlightened. The problem between the shadow chaser lizard and its beast master, Joe Hao, was not complicated. It all stemmed from the second pet that Joe Hao had contracted a while ago. Howl was a pet beast combatant. His hobby and profession were to battle with other beast masters, constantly becoming stronger. As Howl's first pet, the shadow chaser lizard was not weak, but it was also not among the top tier. After establishing a footing with the lizard as his partner, Howl paid a hefty price to acquire a stronger second pet, a variegated dragon sparrow. There are differences in strength among the leader species. The variegated dragon sparrow was born with 4 2-star skills and had a very high combat aptitude, making it one of the top pet beast species. However, the variegated dragon sparrow had a small flaw. It was likely to have a jealous nature. Regrettably, Howl's was indeed so. Not long after they had formed the contract, the variegated dragon sparrow showed hostility towards the shadow chaser lizard, who was contracted earlier. Furthermore, the variegated dragon sparrow was extremely intelligent. It did not provoke conflict, but irritated the shadow chaser lizard in various ways, making the shadow chaser lizard attack it and act pitiful in front of Howl. In other words, it was being manipulative. After several instances, Howl realized that it was impossible for the two pets to coexist peacefully and had to make a choice to send one of them to long-term foster care. And he chose to keep the variegated dragon sparrow. The reason was simple. The variegated dragon sparrow had more potential and value than the shadow chaser lizard and could bring greater help to his work. So the shadow chaser lizard had to be the one to be sacrificed. That's pretty much what happened, Zhang Yun sighed. When you have many pets, beast masters must find a way to mediate their relationships. Encountering such a situation where it is impossible to reconcile, it is the most distressing. Yeah. Su Ran nodded, feeling more sympathy for the shadow chaser lizard. Now understanding the situation, he had some ideas on how to comfort it. All right, it's getting late and I need to go. Zhang Yun checked the time and finally hugged the stone-armored dragon. Stay here and be good. Wait for me to pick you up. Roar Tilda. The stone-armored dragon rubbed its giant head against its beast master, waved its tail, and said goodbye. With each backward glance, Zhang Yun eventually left the foster area. This area will be your living area from now on. Su Ran quickly set up a stack of pebbles in small hills for the stone-armored dragon. Roar! The stone-armored dragon's eyes lit up, and it skillfully buried itself in the pebbles. The smooth pebbles wouldn't wear out its stone scales too much, and this game of burying itself in the stone pile was the stone-armored dragon's favorite. You play for a while, I'll prepare your food. Su Ran spoke to the stone pile, then turned and headed for the preparation room. The stone-armored dragon needs to eat 3 meals a day, of which 2 meals can be shared with the other 2 pets, but it also needs an additional meal in the middle. Su Ran quickly prepared the meal and returned with the food bowl. Smelling the enticing aroma that caused it to salivate, the stone-armored dragon quickly wriggled out of the pebbles and crawled to the food bowl. It swallowed hard, feeling as if the food in front of it was a seductive fairy, making it unable to control its desire to taste it. Go ahead and eat. This whole bowl is yours. Seeing the stone-armored dragon looking somewhat uneasy due to its recent arrival, Su Ran said with a smile. Roar! Hearing Su Ran's words, the stone-armored dragon let go of its restraint and gobbled up the food in the bowl. Feeling the wonderful taste and rich aroma of the food filling its mouth and nostrils, the stone-armored dragon's eyes gradually blurred. This taste! In a trance, it seemed to see a beautiful female stone-armored dragon coming towards it, and the tingling sensation from the previous washing and protection returned again. Roar tilde tilde. Pleasure value from stone-armored dragon plus 10. Pleasure value from stone-armored dragon plus 10. From... After clearing away the stone-armored dragon's food bowl, Su Ran turned to the shadow chaser lizard hidden in the shadow of the stone forest. When Mr. Zhang Yun was talking about you just now, you were listening, weren't you? Su Ran casually sat on the ground, looked at the shadow in front of him, and suddenly spoke. The shadow chaser lizard poked its head out of the shadow and looked at Su Ran with complex eyes. The moment Zhang Yun and the stone-armored dragon appeared, it recognized them. Because of this, when Zhang Yun later talked about its own experiences, the shadow chaser lizard quietly drew closer and heard their conversation. It thought that its small movements had gone unnoticed, but Su Ran had always been paying attention to it and easily spotted the signs. Now that I know the details of what happened to you in the past, we can have a proper talk, right? Su Ran smiled. This time, the shadow chaser lizard poked its head out instead of refusing to communicate as it had before, which was a good start. As a result, he felt more confident about his plan to comfort it. Do you want to surpass that variegated dragon sparrow? Chapter 51, Xian's Concerns. At the sound of Su Ran's question, the shadow chaser lizard stood rooted to the spot. Its eyes became increasingly complex. Anger, resentment, disappointment. Recalling the past, a flood of emotions surged in its heart. After a long while, the shadow chaser lizard nodded its head vigorously. It wanted to become stronger. If it could become stronger than the variegated dragon sparrow, the beast master would certainly not abandon it. Good, but you should know that your talent compared to the variegated dragon sparrow falls short. Su Ran spoke seriously. Tilda. The shadow chaser lizard nodded its head, its mood dipping with the admission. Even among the leader species, there were disparities. Despite its reluctance to accept this, the gulf between its strength and the variegated dragon sparrow was not easy to bridge. But I have a solution, Su Ran slowly stated. The shadow chaser lizard suddenly lifted his head, its pitch-black eyes blazing with anticipation. Really, is there a solution? You've been living here for 3 days. How do you find the food I provided daily? Su Ran carefully broached. Food? The shadow chaser lizard recalled the food here. Its initial impression was of unprecedented deliciousness, but soon after it seemed to realize something, and its eyes brightened. That's right, the food here, something you can't buy outside, is the most conducive to your growth. Su Ran boasted without any blush. In this respect, you're already winning. As long as you don't give up, you can train here and become stronger. Su Ran slowly said. With better food to replenish your strength, your progress will certainly be greater than the variegated dragon sparrow's. On the contrary, if you remain dispirited while the variegated dragon sparrow is constantly improving itself, the gap between you two will only widen. His words stung the shadow chaser lizard into wakefulness. Its eyes suddenly glowed with newfound resolve. Yes, by remaining despondent, wasn't it playing right into the variegated dragon sparrow's hands? No, even though the beast master left it here, it couldn't stop its daily training. It has to become stronger, become even stronger. Seeing the shadow chaser lizard, whose fighting spirit was ignited in an instant and whose depression was swept away, Su Ran smiled. Indeed, only the right remedy could solve the problem. You should quietly evolve, then seize the opportunity to amaze everyone. The shadow chaser lizard nodded vigorously, etching Su Ran's words in its mind. Quietly evolve, It got it. The shadow chaser lizard melded into the shadows in an instant, weaving through the stone forest like a ghost, repeatedly attacking the empty air, unleashing fierce attacks. Like a hunter concealed in the dark, it was sharpening its blade. Pleasure value from shadow chaser lizard +1. Seeing the pleasure value from the shadow chaser lizard once more, Su Ran smiled. Yes, just like this. You work hard in training, I earn pleasure value. We all have a beautiful tomorrow. Meow Tilda, how's the new occupant? Seeing Su Ran come out from the back door, Xian slowly stood up, elegantly pounced into his arms. Seeing Zhang Yun leave alone, it guessed that there was a new guest in the shop. He's been settled in. Not only that, I've successfully enlightened the shadow chaser lizard as well. Su Ran smiled, rubbing Xian's head, and told it about what happened after discovering Zhang Yun knew Zhou Hao, the shadow chaser lizard's owner. However, after finishing, Su Ran noticed that Xian wasn't happy about the shadow chaser lizard's renewed spirit. On the contrary, it seemed a little downcast. What happened? He asked in confusion. Xian looked at Su Ran, rubbed his palm with its head, then cautiously meowed. Meow Tilda, will you abandon me for a second pet in the future? So that was what he was worried about. Su Ran fell silent. It seemed that the story of the shadow chaser lizard had made this clingy little guy think about itself. Come to think of it, the experience of the shadow chaser lizard served as a reminder for me. Su Ran stroked its head to comfort it. I won't hastily contract any pet beast afterwards. I will only make a contract when I'm sure it can get along harmoniously with previous members. Meow, that's better. Xian nodded in satisfaction. As Su Ran's first pet beast, all future pet beasts had to live in peace with it. Of course, you can't bully the later pet beasts either. Su Ran patted this somewhat proud little fellow. As a senior, you need to take care of your juniors. Meow Tilda, okay Tilda. After agreeing, Xian quickly thought of something more important. Meow tilde, did the last grooming give me any new skills? Ah, there is one, but this skill is of earth attribute, you can't learn it. Su Ran gave an embarrassed smile, next time for sure. All right then. Xian helplessly spread its paws. Meow tilde, then I want to take a bath. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would have almost forgotten. Su Ran looked at his own pet beast. Considering they spent every day together, he hadn't noticed how long it had been since Xian's last grooming. Let's go, time for a bath. Su Ran closed the shop door, carrying Xian into the grooming room. A moment later, a soft and trembling voice came from the closed Starfire Foster shop, attracting the attention of passers-by. Meow tilde tilde tilde. Su Ran sat behind the counter, propping his cheeks up. Beside him laid Xian, its appearance significantly enhanced after grooming. It lazily stretched its paws, swinging its fluffy tail from time to time and occasionally glancing at its beast master. No wonder that Flame Fox always wanted another grooming session. But it had already been defeated by him. Xian's thoughts hopped around as agilely as its body, soon shifting from Flame Fox to the dark-scaled dragon who continued to pressurize it. Though it had defeated the Flame Fox, it shouldn't grow proud. It had to defeat that detestable dark-scaled dragon. Its eyes squinted slightly, and suddenly a fighting spirit surged within it. Meow tilde, I want to train. I want to upgrade all my skills to starlight level. Training, huh? Pondering, Su Ran rubbed his chin, opened his personal panel and checked his pleasure value, which had already exceeded 10,000. The energy abundant potions had been depleted. A 10-draw lottery should be able to replenish some. But without Lucky Liu around, wouldn't 10 consecutive draws be a bit risky? With a 10-draw lottery in hand, there's no way he would come out empty-handed. After staring at the lottery interface for a while, Su Ran finally made a decision. Draw. Without Lucky Liu, he refused to believe he wouldn't get anything good. After setting off with his 10 draws, Su Ran's face tightened, getting nervous as the draws proceeded. The roulette spun rapidly, and rays of light wrapped around different items flew out. Good news, he got a blue item. Bad news, there was only one. Aside from the negligible effects of the white items, Su Ran had only received 3 doses of energy-abundant potion and 1 skill fusion stone. The 3 doses of energy-abundant potion should be enough to upgrade all of Xian's skills to starlight level. As for the skill fusion stone, there weren't enough of them, and he didn't have any particular skills that needed fusion for now. Better save it for later. Looking at the open prizes, Su Ran heaved a deep sigh. Next time, if Lucky Liu isn't around, he absolutely won't draw a lottery. Chapter 52, All Skills Starlight Level. Zila. A deep purple energy sphere traverses the sky, striking hard against a dark green energy target, and exploding to form an electric light ball with a diameter exceeding 10 meters. The terrifying electric arcs wildly splash in the air, breaking the dozens of light green energy targets surrounding the dark green energy target one by one. 2-star skill, Starlight Level Electric Spark. Compared to the Stardust Level Electric Spark, not only has its range of explosion and scattering increased by 1 rank, but it can also control the method of scattering the electric arcs after the explosion to a certain extent, achieving multiple attacks of range damage plus targeted damage. Dotted with dozens of red energy spheres aiming at a petite white and purple figure on the training ground, seemingly sealing off all its possible evasion space, not leaving any leeway. Faced with such suffocating aggression, the white and purple figure swiftly flickers, leaving remnants of collected electric light shadows in place. The remnants are torn by red energy spheres, and the shattered electric light freely refracts around the ground, reflecting that figure elegantly and brilliantly in its unharmed state. 2-star skill, Starlight Level Electric Arc. Upon promoting a proficiency level, this skill that uses Thunder Force to accelerate oneself finds a broader range of applications. In addition to speed, the remnants formed by collected electric arcs will dissipate after a brief pause. If an opponent touches the remnants before they dissipate, they instantly shatter into countless electric streams and leave the opponent with certain paralysis effect. If caught off guard, this skill is bound to give adversaries an unpleasant surprise. Several blue energy targets appear at the side of the white and purple figure, wrapping it round. The elegant figure instantly transforms into a robust slayer. Whipping tail, swiping claws, biting, stomping, every part of the figure seemingly transforms into a lethal tool of massacre, displaying unimaginably difficult maneuvers in the blink of an eye, shattering all the surrounding energy targets. This is the art of combat, as well as the art of massacre. 2-star skill, Starlight level Battle Instinct. Upon reaching the Starlight level, Battle Instinct becomes fittingly innate, flowing freely in every maneuver. It can perfectly exploit any part of the body at any moment, achieving what is typically impossible. 3 hours are up, the training ends here. Su-Ran presses the stop button on the console and declares loudly, "Meow tilde." The previously feisty white and purple figure instantly becomes docile, makes a light jump, and lands in Su-Ran's arms. It's Xian, whose strength has been comprehensively enhanced. A week has passed since the stone-armored dragon has been admitted to Starfire Foster Care Shop. During this week, Su-Ran has been feeding Xian the energy-abundant potion he got from the draw, only finishing the last bottle today. Following the consumption of 3 bottles of energy-abundant potion, Xian's skills proficiency has been increasing with unbelievable efficiency. Not only have all 3 2-star skills been upgraded to Starlight level, but the 1-star skills Self-Healing Power and Blood Fury have also been promoted to Starlight level. The Starlight level Self-Healing Power did not see much change, only with a significantly enhanced treatment effect. The direction of the upgrade for Starlight level Blood Fury is to reduce the side effects, shortening the period of weakness after use. Now, all of Xian's skills have been upgraded to Starlight level, just like the Dark Scale Dragon before, accomplishing the small achievement of having all skills at Starlight level. Apart from skill upgrades, Xian has also made notable progress in growth progress. Contract Pet Beast, Xian. Race Name, Electric Chasing Cat. Attribute, Thunder. Growth Stage, Transcendent Stage, 435 500+. Race Level, Leader Species. Skills, Electric Spark, Starlight Level, 12/500. Electric Arc, Starlight Level, 32/500. Battle Instinct, Starlight Level, 7/500. Self-Healing Power, Starlight Level, 1/500. Blood Fury, Starlight Level, 1/500. On the way back holding Xian, Su-Ran carefully examines Xian's panel data and nods satisfied. Having over 400 growth progress points, the current Xian is unrecognizable compared to just awakening with only 123 growth progress points. If confronted with its past self, the present Xian can take on 10 of them alone. I'm hitting myself, are you scared? The rapid progress of Xian's growth wasn't just due to its own efforts, but also intimately related to Su-Ran's additional points. With the stone-armored dragon moving in, the number of members in the foster shop increased to 3, which not only meant more daily fixed pleasure value, but also an increased number of physical points that could be obtained every day. During these days, Xian fully experienced the joy of adding points. Su-Ran exited Xian's panel and returned to his own. Host Su-Ran. Contract Power First Stage. Contract Pet Beast, Xian View Details. System Skills. Plucking Fur C level. Drug Application D level. Pet Beast Skills. Ice Storm. Rock Eruption. Blood Ray. Refreshing Rain. Physical Points 0. Pleasure Value 23,289. System Upgrade Experience 301,000. The experience of applying drugs increased steadily by 3 points every day, and the washing and protection services weren't neglected either. A few customers visited the shop over the week. Although their number wasn't high, Su-Ran was very pleased. The only dissatisfaction was that he hadn't obtained any new suitable skills for Xian. The 2 times Plucking Fur was activated, the skills obtained were useless. The Fire Attribute 2-star skill, Blood Rage, came from a customer who tried the foster shop on a whim. The Water Attribute 2-star skill, Refreshing Rain, came from Liu Gu's Sea Wave Flower. The skills were good, the only problem was they couldn't be taught. Over the course of a week, Su-Ran's pleasure value had reached 20,000. The time when Uncle Liu came to the shop, Su-Ran hadn't accumulated enough for a 10 draw, so he held back from drawing. He vowed that the next time Lucky Liu came, he would definitely draw to his heart's content. Little boss, you're finally here. Before Su-Ran could even step inside, Liu Gu, who was waiting outside, waved at him, shouting, "I came for your washing and protection service." The Wind Lion dog behind him was covered in blood, while the Sea Wave Flower displayed a disgusted attitude. Without a doubt, They must have gone to the city outskirts and been part of a battle before returning to the city. Su Ran paused and gave a slight smile. Speak of the devil, and the devil arrives. Uncle Liu, the winged lion dog has been cleaned up. Haha, I'm used to coming here for a cleanup after each city trip. Liu Gu laughed heartily. On the one hand, the sea wave flower loved cleanliness and couldn't stand the winged lion dog's dirtiness. On the other hand, once this rule was set, the winged lion dog fought more bravely and efficiently every time it went out of the city. There couldn't be a better incentive than this. You're always welcome. Su Ran patted Liu Gu on the shoulder with a smile. All right, I'm leaving now. Liu Gu, who was used to Su Ran's peculiar way of greeting, waved and left with the two pet beasts. Once Liu Gu was out of sight, Su Ran's face lit up with excitement. Purple came out. Chapter 53, Purple Reward. Su Ran closed the shop door immediately, breathed deeply, and then re-entered the lottery drawing page. Having participated in so many lottery drawings, he was no longer naive about whether the prizes were of good quality or not. The prizes won through the system's lottery were divided into 6 levels, ranging from lowest to highest: white, green, blue, purple, red, and gold. Before this, the most valuable prize Su Ran won was a blue reward. Let's see what these blue rewards are. An awakening stone that can turn Xian into a transcendent being, a good luck charm that saved his life in the nick of time, a skill fusion stone that can merge skills into a stronger one. Each of these would create quite a stir if placed in the outside world. But now he's won a purple reward, which is even more valuable than the blue ones. Coming back to his senses, Su Ran looked at the single purple light group within the 20 light clusters. Meditation Acceleration Card. The Meditation Acceleration Card is a special product of the system. When used, the host's meditation speed will increase for a month. This item cannot be used by anyone other than the host. Su Ran blinked his eyes. A tool that can speed up meditation for a month. It sounds really powerful, but doesn't it seem a little out of line with the prestige he imagined a purple reward would possess? However, this is indeed what he needs right now. As Xian's strength continues to increase day by day, its growth is nearly peaking. What is stopping it from breaking through is Su Ran's contract power. Not to mention that Su Ran often has mixed thoughts, making it difficult for him to meditate for extended periods. Even if he could, the normal speed of meditation definitely wouldn't keep up with Xian's breakthrough speed. This is quite a problem. And now, the Meditation Acceleration Card has come at just the right time. After checking the details of the purple reward, Su Ran began counting the other prizes. Aside from the white prizes, which are just there to make up numbers, he has won 8 prizes, 3 blue and 5 green. The 3 blue rewards are all skill fusion stones. In addition to the one he hadn't used before, he now has 4. If Xian gets a compatible skill for fusion, the 4 skill fusion stones have a high chance of fusion success. Of the 5 green rewards, 4 are energy-abundant potions, and the last one is a new prize Su Ran has never seen before. Fast-acting healing potion. Fast-acting healing potion is a special product of the system. When injured, taking it will recover the injury at an extremely fast speed. It sounds good, but for Xian, its value is less than that of the energy-abundant potion. After all, Xian already possesses self-healing skills. After perusing all the rewards, Su Ran exited the lottery interface. Meditation Acceleration Card, activate. He was eager to see how much acceleration this meditation card, as a purple reward, could actually provide. Xian, help me watch the shop while I try to meditate. Su Ran reopened the shop door, indicating to Xian to watch the shop while he tried to meditate. If anyone came in, Xian was to wake him up. After that, he went back behind the counter, sat cross-legged and closed his eyes. Meow tilde, go for it tilde. Xian lazily responded, showing satisfaction at Su Ran's sudden fervor, but wasn't optimistic about it. After all, Su Ran has tried to meditate several times over the past few days, and it was good if he could stick with it for 10 minutes. As time ticked away, Xian's original laziness gradually disappeared. It stood up, astonished as it looked at Su Ran, who was still in a meditative state, unmoved. A look of surprise quickly appeared on its face. Could it be that its breakthrough to the starlight level in all skills indirectly inspired the Beast Master? Cheer up, cheer up. In its heart it was rooting for Su Ran, its eyes filled with an expectant look. Once the Beast Master's contract power reached the 2nd stage, it could break through. At this moment, Su-Ran was in a state of immense shock. As soon as he entered meditation, he noticed the difference after using the meditation acceleration card. Before this, he found it difficult to clear his mind of distractions and fully enter a meditative state. Now, however, a single thought was enough to clear his mind and enter a meditative state without any interruptions by stray thoughts. Without a doubt, this greatly improved his meditation efficiency. And this was just the minor assistive effect of the meditation acceleration card. After entering meditation, Su-Ran was immediately astounded by the acceleration effect of the card. His meditation speed increased by 100 times. If such a meditation speed could be maintained for the next month, then his 1 month of meditation would be equivalent to 8 years of meditation by other Beast Masters. What does 8 years mean? The new Beast Master students recruited by Beast Mastery High School, by the time of graduation in their 3rd year, the best batch among them could reach the 2nd stage of contract power and contract 2 elite-level pet beasts. But such excellent graduates usually represented only about 50% of the class, while the rest needed 1 or 2 years after graduation to reach this level. This shows that ordinary Beast Masters typically need 3 to 5 years of normal meditation for their contract power to break through from the 1st to the 2nd stage. Su-Ran, with only normal meditation, could surely break through to the 2nd stage within a month. If all goes well, the 3rd stage of contract power may not be too far off. If it were not for the calming function of the meditation acceleration card, the surprise and joy that surged to his heart at this moment would be enough to bring Su-Ran out of his meditative state. Practice. Practice hard. It's well-deserved as a purple reward, so terrifying. Variegated dragon sparrow, pick yourself up. Zhou stood on the battlefield, watching his incredibly proud pet beast fall heavily under the opponent's attack and completely lose its combat capabilities. His face was filled with an unwilling look. It was so close. This was an assessment of a professional battle master's combat power. As long as he defeated the assessor in front of him, his combat power rating could be improved, thus gaining better conditions. Such an assessment doesn't happen all the time, and there is only one chance a year. What, is it over? The assessor spoke slowly. If that's the case, it's a shame and you'll have to wait another year to try again. Or you should have another beast, right? You can let it try. Zhou couldn't help but clenched his fists. Professional battle masters are divided into 2 different directions according to the situation of their beasts: team battle master and individual battle master. The former does not necessarily have strong individual pet beast capabilities, but their pet beasts cooperate seamlessly, capable of producing an effect where 1 + 1 is greater than 2. The latter focuses on cultivating a single pet beast, pouring a great deal of effort into training it to have extremely high individual strength. Undoubtedly, no matter how strong an individual is, it is hard to compete with a coordinated team. So Zhou's initial plan was to transition to become a team battle master after contracting with his 2nd pet beast, letting the shadow chaser lizard and variegated dragon sparrow fight together. But the irreconcilable conflict between the 2 pet beasts made him give up this idea and settle for becoming an individual battle master. Comparing the shadow chaser lizard and the variegated dragon sparrow, the latter undoubtedly had a higher cultivation ceiling. So, without much hesitation, he chose to foster the shadow chaser lizard and fully cultivate the variegated dragon sparrow. Now, the variegated dragon sparrow had lost. Chapter 54. The opportunity of the shadow chaser lizard. Should I let the shadow chaser lizard try? The examiner's words kept echoing in Zhou's mind. He slightly pursed his lips, his face showing a touch of hesitation. 10 days ago, he had disregarded the shadow chaser lizard's pleadings and sent it to the foster shop. The only thing that could be considered compensation was probably his choice of the most expensive shop after comparing several. But Zhou also understood that the shadow chaser lizard would not forgive him for this. If he summoned that stubborn creature now, would it really still be willing to fight for him? And, for the past 10 days, could the deeply distressed shadow chaser lizard really still maintain its previous fighting state? Many thoughts surfaced in Zhou's mind. For the first time, he sincerely regretted the choice he had made. Amidst a myriad of dilemmas, Zhou tentatively sent a message to the other silent end of the beast-taming contract. Are you still willing to fight for me? Meow tilde, wake up quickly. Although Xian really wanted Su Ran to continue his meditation, sensing the anomaly, he knew he had to wake Su Ran up. "What's the matter?" Su Ran slowly opened his eyes, still immersed in the joy of his previous 100-speed meditation, not yet fully conscious. "Meow tilde, there's an incident in the foster area." Xian raised his paw and pointed at the constantly flashing control hub. When an anomaly occurred in the foster area, the control hub would flash and issue a warning. Is there a problem with the Shadow Chaser lizard?" Seeing the object of the warning, Su Ran's brow immediately furrowed. After Su Ran successfully encouraged the Shadow Chaser lizard, it had turned its sorrow into strength, continuously undergoing even tougher training than before. Upon hearing its story, even the armored rhinoceros forgave its impulsiveness back then. The newly arrived stone-armored dragon was also willing to contribute its strength. Two elite-level pet beasts that were stronger than the Shadow Chaser lizard had become its sparring partners. They fought every day in the training area, and even Xian often went to observe and study. Apart from needing to manually repair the environment every day, everything was going well. The pleasure value provided by the Shadow Chaser lizard was as much as the other two foster care residents. And now there's a problem again. This is unacceptable. Let's go down and take a look. Su Ran immediately made a decision, carrying Xian towards the back door, and soon arrived at the foster area. However, the situation before his eyes left him somewhat confused. The Shadow Chaser lizard didn't show the slightest sign of depression. On the contrary, it seemed a little too excited. As a pet beast of the dark attribute, it was actually running frantically under the direct rays of the artificial light source. "Shadow Chaser lizard, what's going on with you?" Su Ran stopped it and began to inquire curiously. "Click, my chance has come." "A chance, what the hell?" Su Ran frowned, about to continue asking, when suddenly a bolt of lightning flashed across his mind. He remembered the pep talk he had given to the Shadow Chaser lizard at that time. "You have to grow quietly, then wait for an opportunity to stun everyone." Could the Shadow Chaser lizard be referring to this? If so, this means, is your beast master summoning you? Click yes. The Shadow Chaser lizard nodded its head vehemently, its eyes filled with excitement. Just now, its beast master had asked it through the beast-taming contract whether it was willing to go into battle. It had agreed without hesitation. After a little preparation, it would then be transmitted away. The beast master still needed it. This time, it would definitely do better. "Congratulations, you have another chance to prove yourself." Su Ran patted the Shadow Chaser lizard's head, his eyes filled with an encouraging expression. The progress of the Shadow Chaser lizard had been evident over the past week. Although it wasn't his own pet beast, Su Ran still increased its food intake to replenish the energy it expended in training. At this moment, it was clearly stronger than it was a week ago. The Chaser lizard looked at the two big fellows who had trained with it over the week, nodding gratefully. It will never forget the help of these two neighbors. The hexagram star array lights up behind the Shadow Chaser lizard. The call to battle, which it hasn't heard in a while, ignites a burning sense of combat in its black eyes. The next moment, its figure disappeared on the spot. Roar tilde. Ao tilde. The armored rhinoceros and the stone-armored dragon roared with a hint of reluctance. "Don't worry, the Shadow Chaser lizard will be back," Su Ran smiled. The beast master of the Shadow Chaser lizard has paid a month's fosterage fee in advance, which hasn't ended yet. Either they will come to get a refund, or they will send the Shadow Chaser lizard back here again. Of course, he hopes it's the former. "Come on, Shadow Chaser lizard." With a cheer for the Shadow Chaser lizard in his heart, Su Ran left the foster area with Xian. Within the hexagram star array, a dark figure emerged from the wild wind. Hiss! The variegated dragon sparrow, which had largely recovered from its injuries, saw this familiar figure and immediately showed an expression of disdain in its eyes. What's the use of letting this guy, who even it couldn't beat, to come and fight? It turned its head to look at its beast master. "Let's fight. Only after the battle will you know that the only one you can rely on is me." "Shadow Chaser lizard, you." Howl pointed to the opponent ahead, intending to clarify the situation to the Shadow Chaser lizard. However, his words were cut short when he noticed the striking change in the lizard's stature. What's going on? The Shadow Chaser lizard had been in foster care for 10 days. Why had it changed so much? No matter, let's put that aside for now. Your opponent is the Scarlet Ape, an elite-level fighting attribute pet beast. Joe How quickly gave a rundown of their opponent. It has 4 2-star skills, 3 of which are innate, while 1 is acquired. What you need to pay special attention to is its 2-star skill, Berserk. It suddenly breaks out at critical moments. That's how the variegated dragon sparrow was defeated. Joe How rapidly analyzed the situation. Leave the rest to me to command. Click. The shadow chaser lizard gave Joe How a firm look, fixing its gaze on the imposing giant ape draped in a coat of scarlet hair, obscuring a muscular frame teeming with power. The intimidating aura the ape gave off was no less powerful than the armored rhinoceros and the stone-armored dragon that had trained with it. But it must win this battle. The word Suran spoke before flashed in its mind. Now it's time to stun everyone. Your pet beast has a lot of fighting spirit. The examiner laughed, then his face gradually turned serious. Combat Master Joe How, this is your last chance. If you fail again, you'll have to wait until next year to reapply for the promotion. So are you ready? I'm ready, Joe How shouted, although his heart was still pounding. It seems that the shadow chaser lizard hasn't wasted its time in fosterage, but has been training hard. However, can it really defeat a foe that the variegated dragon sparrow failed to defeat? Since you're ready, let's begin, the examiner nodded slightly. The next moment, the scarlet ape that stood before him stepped heavily onto the battle stand. The hard battle stand was left with a shallow pit under the powerful force of the scarlet ape. Covering dozens of meters in the blink of an eye, it shot towards the shadow chaser lizard. 2-star skill, waning moon level blink. Chapter 55, Risking Life. Shadow chaser lizard shadow dodge. Almost at the same time as the scarlet ape vanished, Joe How's command rang in the mind of the shadow chaser lizard. Krieg tilde. The lizard's dark pupils instantly contracted, turning the dense dark attribute energy into black mist that enveloped it. Just as the scarlet ape reappeared in front of it, exerting a power as imposing as a mountain and fiercely lifting its fist to strike at it, the shadow chaser lizard vanished. Boom! The terrifying fist powered through, heavily slamming into the battle stand and leaving a spiderweb-like crack in the ground. If the strike had hit the shadow chaser lizard, it would have been seriously injured on the spot. 2-star skills, waning moon level fury punch. Roar! With its full force strike hitting only air, the scarlet ape was seething with fury. It let out a fierce roar before rapidly turning to survey all around, trying to trace its opponent. At this moment, the examiner's command echoed in the scarlet ape's mind. Blink step, leap to high altitude. Instinctively, the scarlet ape exploded with powerful leg strength, once again left shallow pits in the ground as that tremendous power lifted it high into the air. Almost at the same time that the scarlet ape jumped up, 3 pitch-black, dagger-like sharp claw marks soared up from its shadow, fiercely striking the spot where the scarlet ape had just been, instantly tearing apart its afterimage. 2-star skills, waning moon-level dark blade claw. The move missed, and the shadow chaser lizard reappeared from the slowly vanishing shadow, a hint of regret in its eyes. Too bad it was a step too late. Roared. Only then did the scarlet ape belatedly realize that the shadow chaser lizard had hidden in its shadow. It roared in fury, its gaze at the lizard filled with irritation. It hated this kind of opponent, who only knew how to dodge and launch surprise attacks. The scarlet ape in the air landed heavily on the battle stand 10 meters away, then immediately began charging towards the shadow chaser lizard without using its blink step. Seeing the scarlet ape get closer, the shadow chaser lizard's eyes showed a hint of contempt. This charge was nowhere near as powerful as that of the armored rhinoceros. The 2 elite-level pet beasts soon clashed into a heated fight. The scarlet ape's moves were wildly fierce. A casual strike was enough to crack the solid battle stand. However, the shadow chaser lizard, which had been trained to perfection in agility by 2 large beasts, remained composed. With its ghost-like footwork, the scarlet ape's strikes could hardly land any direct hits. This extraordinary performance surprised not only the examiner but also Joe How, who was giving the commands. How had the shadow chaser lizard become so strong? Control of abilities was one part, but Joe How, who was intimately familiar with his pet beast, could see that the shadow chaser lizard's victory over the scarlet ape was due more to its serious progress over the past 10 days. Seeing the shadow chaser lizard gradually gaining the upper hand, Joe How could feel hope burning again in his heart. The variegated dragon sparrow watching from the sidelines also showed changes in its expression, from initial contempt to surprise and disbelief. How could this guy be so strong? Scarlet Ape go berserk. After repeated unsuccessful attacks, the examiner decisively signaled the Scarlet Ape to erupt its power. Roar! Frustrated by its repeated failed attacks, the Scarlet Ape's eyes turned blood red and a blood mist enveloped it. As its body crackled with energy, the Scarlet Ape's physique became even more robust. Terrifying power burst out of it, making the already fierce Scarlet Ape look like a god or demon descending to the world. 2-star skills, waning moon level berserk. Boom! The Scarlet Ape, amplified by its rage, slammed the battle stand vigorously, its ferocious power leaving web-like cracks across the surface. However, this time it seemed like a different kind of power was transmitted through the shadow beneath. Crack! The shadow chaser lizard, caught off guard, was directly struck by this fierce power, frantically escaping from the shadow before gasping for breath in the next instant. The Scarlet Ape engaged in quick step, appearing in front of it. The confrontation between its crazy crimson eyes and the lizard's pitch-black ones cast a shadow over the lizard's heart. Another berserk punch was coming its way. Shadow Chaser Lizard, Dark Light. Joe Howe quickly issued his command with a hint of urgency. The black-bodied Shadow Chaser Lizard instantly swallowed all surrounding light, then launched itself towards the other side of the battle stand. Like a black ribbon, it narrowly dodged the intense punch. However, as the Shadow Chaser Lizard resurfaced, the violent Scarlet Ape once again stood before it. Quick step again. The Shadow Chaser Lizard sensed tremendous pressure, unlike ever before. Despite moving clumsily, this ape had enough power to keep up with it. Even more terrifying was the ability to directly attack through shadows after entering a berserk state. The battlefield drastically shifted with the Scarlet Ape entering rage. The only solution was to hold on. Both rage and blood fury, after a brief burst, followed with a moment of weakness. If it could last until then, victory became possible. A black and red silhouette flickered continuously on the battle stand. As time passed, the Shadow Chaser Lizard started accumulating fresh wounds. Despite its best efforts to avoid a direct hit from the Scarlet Ape, it was almost impossible to escape all collateral damage. New injuries interfered with the lizard's movements, leading to more wounds. Eventually, the Shadow Chaser Lizard's reaction slowed, and it was hit directly by a punch from the enraged Scarlet Ape. Boom! An air ring propagated in the void. The Shadow Chaser Lizard, hit by the Scarlet Ape, flew back like a cannonball and falling motionless after rolling for nearly 10 meters. Shadow Chaser Lizard. Joe Howe watched anxiously in the direction of the lizard, his face pale. Deserve compliments for impressive fighting ability, the examiner nodded slightly. Unfortunately, it's still not the Scarlet Apes. Crack tilde. A faint voice came from the edge of the arena. Looking at the Shadow Chaser Lizard, soaked in blood and scarily scarred but still standing, the examiner was moved. Step by step, the lizard faced the fierce Scarlet Ape. No matter how injured it was, it held its head high, its eyes still filled with fighting spirit. Looking at his once familiar companion, Joe Howe felt a large hammer whirling in his mind, stammering, unable to utter a word. The Shadow Chaser Lizard, despite such injuries, is it still fighting for me? Crack! The Shadow Chaser Lizard stood in front of the stationary Scarlet Ape, issuing a challenging sound. Roar! The Scarlet Ape growled lightly and rushed up to the lizard in an instant. As it was about to throw a punch, its body suddenly froze, power declining visibly and its body size shrinking. The rage ended. Chapter 56. Thanks from Joe Howe. Is the boss here? Joe Howe strode into the Starfare foster care shop. Yes. Sue Rand finished his meditation, slowly opened his eyes, and recognized who the visitor was at first sight. Howe's the Shadow Chaser Lizard. It's here. Joe Howe glanced at his feet in the shadow. The scar-stricken Shadow Chaser Lizard slowly emerged, raising its head to look at Sue Rand. Cratilda. I did it. Seeing the Shadow Chaser Lizard, Sue Rand frowned. The disapproval became obvious in his eyes towards Joe Howe. Did you not treat it? Ah, no. Realizing Sue Rand's misunderstanding, Joe Howe immediately explained. The Shadow Chaser Lizard suffered severe injuries during the fight, but it eagerly wanted to rush over here right after it had its initial treatment and its condition stabilized. Saying this, Joe Howe also looked helpless. He had tried to persuade it, but the Shadow Chaser Lizard, with its obstinate character, refused to listen. Cratilda. The shadow chaser lizard shook its head a bit. Treatment at the elite stage is much slower than at the transcendent stage, let alone the fact that its injuries are so severe that it won't be fully healed for at least 3 to 5 days. But it can't wait for even a second. After the berserking had ended, the scarlet ape was left in a weakened state. The shadow chaser lizard that held on till the end achieved the final victory, helping Joe Howe pass his promotion assessment. It achieved something that the variegated dragon sparrow couldn't do, proving itself successful. Now it just wants to quickly share this good news with everyone who has helped. After listening to the explanation, Suran fell silent for a moment, then silently took out a test tube from his arms. The light blue liquid inside it shimmered under the light. Drink this. After drinking the fast-acting healing potion, the injuries on the shadow chaser lizard healed at a visible speed in the end. Not even a scar was left. This, Joe Howe's eyes widened. A medicine with such magical effects must be very valuable. This shop owner just gave it away without even blinking an eye, helping his pet beast recover. How much does this medicine cost? Consider it sold to me, he said immediately. No need, this is not something you can buy with money. Suran waved his hand. You've paid 1 month's foster fee before, and there are still 20 days left, so did you come here this time to return the shadow chaser lizard to the shop? No, no, no. Joe Howe shook his head without hesitation. No more fostering. He looked at the shadow chaser lizard, who was stepping towards the back door with regret on his face. It was my fault before, to neglect the shadow chaser lizard for another pet beast. So now that the shadow chaser lizard has become stronger, you plan to foster the other pet beast? Suran raised an eyebrow. Joe Howe was stunned for a second, then continued shaking his head. No. I've realized the conflict between the two pet beasts has a lot to do with my inaction. Joe Howe slowly said, as a beast master, I should have guided the relationship between the pet beasts correctly, but I just let them fight. There was a look of shame on his face. I've decided I won't give up on either of them again. I will do my best to correct the character problems of the two pet beasts, no matter how much time it takes. Hearing Joe Howe's determined words, Suran nodded slightly. This seemed correct. In that case, I'll refund the remaining 20 days of foster expenses. No need, no need. Joe Howe continued, shaking his head. I came here this time to thank you in person for taking care of the shadow chaser lizard, and you've also used such a valuable healing medicine, so there's no need to mention the money. While he was talking, the shadow chaser lizard returned through the back door. It seemed it had already said goodbye to the armored rhinoceros and the stone-armored dragon in the foster area. It gave Suran and Zion a grateful look, then jumped into Joe Howe's shadow. I should be leaving now, thank you, boss. Joe Howe nodded at Suran and turned to leave the Starfare foster care shop. The shop returned to its quiet state. It is said that the place that makes the shadow chaser lizard feel the most secure after the beast master contract is the shadow of the beast master. Suran looked at the departing back of Joe Howe, rubbing Zion's head. The shadow chaser lizard should be very happy now. Meow tilde, the place that makes me feel the safe is at the side of the beast master. Zion rubbed its head against Suran's palm. Then I am very happy too, Suran laughed. Boss, it's been a week since I saw my stone-armored dragon. How is it? The one-on-one conversation was interrupted by a figure who suddenly barged through the door. Zhang Yun came striding through. Without me, is the stone-armored dragon starving? You can be assured on that matter, Suran asserted. Are you picking it up now? Yes, my fostering fee is all used up. If I don't come pick it up, the young boss won't let it sleep on the streets, right? Zhang Yun grinned. Well, not quite. It's the most I can deduct it waiting for you to redeem it. Suran pretended to be serious. Didn't realize it, but our boss has a sense of humor. Zhang Yun scratched his head. Let's go now. I haven't seen it for a week. Okay, Suran nodded, then reminded. Actually, you can just summon it directly to your side. I know, but picking it up to take it home needs a bit of ceremony. Zhang Yun pulled out a bouquet of flowers from his back. I've already prepared. Suran glanced at the flowers carved out of stone and looked at Zhang Yun with some peculiarity. Didn't notice it last time. This guy is quite the talent. Without further ado, letting Zion watch the shop, Suran led Zhang Yun to the foster area. Big Stone, missed me. Zhang Yun shouted the name he gave to the stone-armored dragon upon recognizing his beast and rushed towards the stone-armored dragon. Aow tilde. The stone-armored dragon was full of surprise and delight. Obviously, Zhang Yun hadn't informed it about this using the Beast Master contract. It excitedly wagged its tail, got up to Zhang Yun. Ao ate the stone sculpture flower he prepared, and then was excited to be close to him. How has it been for you and your neighbors during this time? Zhang Yun laughed and turned to see the armored rhinoceros not far away, giving it a friendly nod. Boss, what about Zhou Hao's shadow chaser lizard? Still in a beaten state. Zhou Hao has already picked it up, right before you came. Su Ran smiled. He decided to work hard to coordinate the relationship between the two pet beasts. It should be like this. Zhang Yun nodded approvingly as he punched his other hand's palm. When a problem arises with a pet beast, the beast master should make every effort to solve the problem rather than discard the pet beast. All right, Big Stone, let's go. I'm taking you to eat something tasty. Zhang Yun patted the head of the stone-armored dragon. Ayo, are we going? The stone-armored dragon that was still feeling excited stiffened up a bit. It retreated a step reluctantly, coming out of Zhang Yun's arms. Ayo, don't you want to go? It's already accustomed to life here and thought it would be nice to stay. Although it will miss the beast master. Right, there's a way. The stone-armored dragon instantly brightened up. Ayo, can I stay here and then you can come and see me every day? Zhang Yun, do you even hear what you're saying? Chapter 57, Exciting Proposal. In the end, the stone-armored dragon agreed to leave the Starfair foster care shop under the gentle persuasion of Zhang Yun. Boss, you're amazing. Standing in front of the foster shop's door, Zhang Yun looked at Su Ran with admiration. My pet beast enjoyed his stay here so much that he didn't want to return home. Who would believe that if we told them? It could be because I put in a lot of effort when taking care of each pet beast, Su Ran shrugged. Indeed, he puts his heart into earning pleasure value. Thinking about how the armored rhinoceros would be the only remaining occupant in his shop, Su Ran's mood took a dive. His pleasure value income would be reduced again. He could only hope that more new pet beasts would choose to stay at his shop soon. Foster shops like yours are getting rare. Zhang Yun sounded deeply moved. As a boss, you not only own a pet beast but also care for others. It's not easy. Meow tilde. Ziyun lifted his head, a smug expression on his face. Her own beast master caring for other pet beasts was ultimately for her to become stronger. Such a beast master was hard to find even with a lantern. Ziyun's movement caught Zhang Yun's attention. He looked at Ziyun more closely. A surprised expression appeared on his face. Boss, your pet beast is quite unique. What's unique about it? Su Ran blinked. I don't recognize its species. Zhang Yun answered seriously. Even though my job is somewhat related to the study of pet beast species, none of the pet beasts I've seen can be matched with it. Actually, it's a stray cat that I adopted. One day, it suddenly awakened into a transcendent being. Su Ran had envisioned a similar scenario and had prepared an explanation. He spoke half-truths and half-falsehoods. Just in time, I was capable of forming a contract with a pet beast. So that's it, it's a cat returning a favor. Zhang Yun sounded amazed. Currently, the number of transcendent beings that awaken by themselves are becoming less and less, and to have a brand new species, it's really unexpected that you managed to encounter one. I've always had good luck, Su Ran nodded casually. It seems that it is in quite a good condition, close to reaching the limit of the transcendent stage. There is a new Beast Master Challenge match happening soon. Do you have interest in participating? Zhang Yun suddenly had a bright idea and suggested it. New Beast Master Challenge match. Su Ran raised an eyebrow. What's it about? Qingzhou City is planning to hold a competition for newly certified Beast Masters. Zhang Yun began to explain. Only Beast Masters whose contract power is at the first stage and are under 30 years old can participate. How old are you, boss? 23. Su Ran candidly stated his age in this world. I knew you didn't look like you were in your 30s. Zhang Yun let out a snicker, then continued. The competition will start soon. Tomorrow is the day registration ends, and then the competition will officially begin. It is said that the Beast Master who gets the first place after many rounds will receive a beast egg with great potential. So boss, you have to register soon. Well, Su Ran scratched his head. Actually, I'm not interested in participating. The corner of Zhang Yun's mouth twitched. He had been going on, but the boss was not interested. Yes, thank you for the information. However, I'm not too interested. Su Ran nodded seriously. I still have to run my store. It sounded very bothersome. Multiple rounds of competition would undoubtedly cost a lot of energy. Instead of spending time on that, he could use the time to entertain more customers in his store and earn some pleasure value. Wouldn't that be as equally appealing? As for the beast egg the first place winner would get, it sounded very tempting, but whether he could win first place was unknown. Moreover, he still had an unused awakening stone. The beast egg wasn't a must-have. Run the store, huh? Zhang Yun went silent. This person was thinking about running his store at such a time. It seems like he really cherished this shop and the pet beasts that stay here. However, running the store and participating in the competition doesn't seem to clash, right? He glanced at Su Ran, thought for a moment, and then tentatively asked, "Have you ever considered advertising your store during the competition?" Eh? Su Ran's eyes sparkled. He was just worrying about not having pet beasts to foster. Advertisements, that's a good idea. Su Ran turned to look at Zhang Yun. Tell me more about it. Beast Master Association, it's here. Following the GPS, Su ran with Xian in his arms. They finally stopped in front of a grand building. The words Qingzhou City Beast Master Association were flamboyantly written on the building, and he nodded in satisfaction. They have arrived. After hearing Zhang Yun's rousing talk about the benefits, Su Ran quickly changed his stance. He had to participate in this competition. Learning that registration had to be done at the Beast Master Association, Su Ran closed his shop and rushed over as soon as he saw Zhang Yun off. Hello, I would like to sign up for the new Beast Master Challenge match. Finding out where the registration counter was, Su Ran arrived in no time. Show me your Beast Master certificate. The staff member at the registration counter glanced at Su Ran, following regular procedure. Wait a moment, I'll get one now. Su Ran turned to leave. The staff member, watching Su Ran walk away with Xian in his arms, he fell into deep thought. Who nowadays would not get certified at the Beast Master Association after becoming a Beast Master? Su Ran did not indeed get his certification. After all, the process by which he became a Beast Master was slightly different from most. He hadn't paid much attention to this matter either. It was only after he listened to the nagging of the staff member at the certificate counter that he learned of the benefits of being certified at the Beast Master Association. He could get discounts on various resources, and he could access the Beast Master Association's forum to communicate with other Beast Masters and get information on the latest trends. Su Ran was not really interested in the former, but the latter might prove beneficial to him. The process of getting certified was not complicated. Su Ran just had to summon Xian into the room from outside, proving that a contract existed between them. The staff member didn't even register Xian's species or other details, which left Su Ran, who had prepared a speech in advance, feeling somewhat disappointed. Okay, this is your Beast Master certificate. If you lose it, you must replace it as soon as possible. Otherwise, it will cause you some trouble. The staff member handed a metal badge to Su Ran. By the way, I've also registered an account for you on the forum. All right? Su Ran put the badge into his pocket and took out his cell phone to log into a special forum under the guidance of the staff member. He eagerly opened it, only to be taken aback by what he saw. Mating, my flame wolf is in heat. Is there any flame wolf in the city that can mate with it? Both genders are okay. The poster seems to be indiscriminate. Did they consider whether their flame wolf agreed or not? Help, I'm afraid my golden flame seed is too hot. So I gave it a cold bath and now it's extinguished. What should I do? Golden flame seed is an elemental life form, right? You gave it a cold bath. Who are these talent people? Include me too. Su Ran quickly picked up his phone and started typing. Help, any recommendations for a better foster shop than the Starfear Foster Care Shop? Chapter 58, The Freak is Me. After posting a thread on the Beast Master Forum, Su Ran puts his cell phone down and then turns to the registration office. He did not forget. The reason why he came to the Beast Master Association was to register for the contest. He had the certificate now. There should not be any problems. I would like to register. Here are my credentials. Su Ran slaps the certificate onto a desk in front of an attendant. A staff member weirdly glanced at Su Ran, who just left and returned, and then took the certificate. He scanned the certificate and nodded slightly. You meet the registration criteria. Follow me for initial screening. Initial screening? What is that? Su Ran blinked his eyes. Zhang Yun didn't mention anything about that, did he? Oh, because of the large number of beast masters participating in the contest, we need to conduct a preliminary strength screening on the pet beasts during the registration period to filter out players with very weak strength, the staff member explained. Don't be too nervous, the screening requirements are not too high. The staff member casually tried to reassure Su-Ran and then turned on a test equipment. Let your pet beast go in there, fully release its different skills for 20 seconds. The staff member pointed to the electronic screen on the equipment. The result of the test will be displayed here after the test. If you score more than 60 points, then you have passed the initial screening. Okay, Su-Ran nodded. He does not know what level of strength Xian has reached now. But the girl named Gu Ling, whose pet beast had also reached the starlight level of all skills, should not be weaker than Xian. She is just a freshman, and the threshold for a new beast master contest is under 30. In this case, could Xian's strength be classified as mid-tier? Meow tilde, I will do my best. Xian seriously nodded its head, and then step-by-step entered the testing device. The entrance to the testing device closed, and the test formally began. Feeling the energy fluctuations inside the device, Su-Ran turned to the staff member and asked, "Has anyone ever got a full score?" "Full score? What are you talking about?" The staff member was puzzled. "A score of 100. Isn't the passing score 60 points?" Su-Ran asked curiously. "No, although the passing score is 60, there is no upper limit on the score. It reflects the overall combat power of the pet beast." The staff member shook his head. "Oh," Su-Ran realized. "Then for the players who have been tested before, what is the highest score?" "You want to know?" The staff member chuckled. "I advise you not to ask, it may get you frustrated." "No problem, I can handle it," Su-Ran said sincerely. He was really curious about how strong the contestants were this time. "Well, if that's the case, I'll give you a hint," the staff member grinned smugly. "There are several staff members in charge of registration, so I only know the specific details of the contestants who register with me. I cannot mention any names, but the highest score among them is 1092 points." The staff member glanced at the astonished Su-Ran. "As you can see, I had advised you not to inquire. 60 points is the passing score, and someone got 1092 points." This sounded crazy. Which beast master scored such a high score? Simply not giving people a way to survive. "That's amazing," Su-Ran sincerely said. "This is simply outrageous." "Indeed, these outrageous genius beast masters make people feel hopeless." The staff member nodded in agreement. "Don't be too discouraged, someday you will reach that level too," he reassured Su-Ran and then turned to look at the screen. "The result is out, you should be able." The staff member suddenly stopped talking. He stared wide-eyed at the number displayed on the screen as if he were choked, unable to speak a word for a long time. "What's my score?" Su-Ran turned his head to look, blinked his eyes. "So it turns out that I am the outrageous one." Looking at the score of 1137 points on the screen and hearing Su-Ran's somewhat puzzled words, the staff member was dumbfounded. He gawked at Su-Ran as if he had seen a ghost. "Meow tilde." Xian stepped out of the testing device with a look of regret on its face. It had originally planned to use Blood Fury inside the device, but it hesitated because using Blood Fury without the energy-abundant potion would lead to temporary weakness. Otherwise, the score would be higher. It just hoped that this score would be enough to pass. It stopped mid-step when it saw the score on the screen. By now, it could understand simple numbers. This number seemed a bit higher than 60. "Meow, is this score high?" Xian looked at Su-Ran with doubtful eyes. "It's a little higher than expected." Su-Ran stroked his chin and finally looked at the staff member. "Could it be that everyone who registered with you is just weak?" "What do you mean everyone who registered with me is weak?" The staff member was irritated. "Among all the preliminary scores, there are only 3. Oh, including you, now 4 who scored over 1,000. So few." Su-Ran was really surprised. Could it be that this contest wasn't as strong as he thought? If that is the case, could he run advertisements more frequently? Grunt high. In a bamboo forest, a teenager wearing a headband with the word punching was practicing boxing with his combat bear, which wore a headband that said hard work. They were fully engaged in their boxing exercises. "Brawl Bear Apprentice, let's work hard." The teenager passionately punched out. His punch stirred a gust of wind that blew the falling bamboo leaves away. "The new Beast Master Challenge match is about to begin soon. It's time to prove ourselves worthy of the Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion." Roar. The Brawl Bear apprentice threw a cute but powerful punch. Even though it was 1 meter tall, it contained powerful energy. The whistling of the punch shattered the falling leaves of the bamboo in front of it. Behold, I am fierce. Puppy, let's go. A short-haired girl rode on a colossal wolf which was 2 meters tall and 5 meters long, covered in thick white fur. She was traversing a dense forest. Even though the colossal wolf was rather large, it could move extremely fast. Despite stepping on soft mud, it left no footprints behind. It was as light as a feather. Only tufts of frost flowers opened quietly where it stepped. They then shattered and vanished, leaving no trace. Not bad, great. Looking at the diameter of the frost flowers behind the colossal wolf, the short-haired girl laughed. Finally, our last skill improved to a starlight level right before the contest. With the blessing of starlight level frost flower path, we are going to become the champions this time. The wolf howled in excitement. Hoot Tilda. Dark-scale dragon, I have good news for you. Gu Ling walked into a training room with her hands behind her back, chuckling. The fourth beast master with a battle rating score over 1,000 points has emerged. This time you can finally have a good fight. Oh, even you, Big Black, are here too. Roar Tilda. A desperate howl came from the spacious training room. Keep up the good work. Gu Ling exited the training room. In the training room, a red-eyed demon dragon slapped the dark-scale dragon sprawling onto the floor. Keep on the intensive training. Chapter 59 See Selection Scene. The competition schedule is quite tight. Holding Xian and returning to the store, Su Ran flipped through the small handbook he got at the registration. Registration ends tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow is the C-election race. At his words, Xian raised its head from Su Ran's embrace, leaning in to read the open booklet as if he was truly comprehending it. However, it quickly gave up and turned to ask Su Ran. Meow, is the C-election race difficult? Hard to say. Su Ran shrugged. According to the schedule instructions, only in the rematch after the C-election race will there be confrontations between contestants. So in the C-election race, we won't have to face off against other contestants. Meow, then how can we advance? The organizer will send out some beast masters of similar strength. Contestants can challenge as many times as they like during the 3-day C-election race stage. As long as you can defeat one of the beast masters, you can advance to the rematch. So the difficulty of the C-election race hinges on the level of the beast masters sent out by the organizer. Su Ran's tone shifted. Of course, I think we should have no problem getting through the C-election race. After all, if there really are only 4 contestants who obtained 1,000 points in the preliminary tests, then our strength should be considered upper tier among all contestants, right? Meow Tilda. Xian nodded seriously, looking filled with confidence. It is certain that it will smoothly advance in the C-election race. After we go back, it's time to feed the armored rhinoceros. Su Ran stole a glance at the time, then expressed his feelings. I'm not used to having 2 fewer fostered pet beasts around. I hope Zhang Yun's suggestion works and we can have more fostered pet beasts in the store. In this way, whether it's for pleasure value or physical points, the daily gains would be considerable. With the main task force requirement for my drug application skill to reach C-class, having more fostered pet beasts would speed up the completion of the task. Having a casual chat with his pet, they quickly returned to the Starfare foster care shop. By the time they dressed up and departed from the Starfare foster care shop for the C-election race venue, it was already the morning of 2 days later. The interior structure of the C-election race venue somewhat resembled a Roman Colosseum, with a large open space in the middle for combat and tiered spectator seats around it. Unexpectedly to Su Ran, this new Beast Master challenge was quite popular. By the time he entered, the spectator seats were already 70 to 80% filled. Finding an empty seat to sit down, Su Ran originally planned to quietly wait for the start of the C-election race. Seeing the Xian being held by him, a young man of similar age sitting next to him initiated conversation. Brother, are you also a contestant of the C-election race? Yes, Su Ran nodded, looking at the man without a pet beast beside him. Are you one too? I'm not. The young man scratched his head, looking rueful. I just contracted a pet beast and didn't even pass the preliminaries. I Tian Feudo am born in the wrong era. He let out a sigh, showing a blend of 3 parts chagrin and 7 parts mystery. I see, Su Ran twitched the corner of his mouth. But my friend is a contestant. Look, there he is. Tian Fudao pointed to a young man sitting on his other side, Zhuang He. He got more than 300 points in the preliminaries. Impressive, right? Impressive. Su Ran responded casually along with Tian Fudao's words, then glanced at the boy called Zhuang He. Zhuang He looked at Su Ran and gave him a reserved nod, sort of a greeting. Don't mind him, that's just the way he is. Tian Fudao laughed amiably. You know, not many contestants carry their competitive pet beasts around like you. Most of them would summon their pet beasts only when they get on stage. My pet beast is small, is there a need for that? Su Ran patted Xian. You probably wouldn't know then. Tian Fudao giggled. This has nothing to do with the size of the pet beasts. It's mainly to keep it a secret and prevent other competitors from knowing our cards. Of course, the secret won't last long. Anyways, once you get on stage at the C-election race, everyone will find out. Su Ran nodded slightly. He also felt there was no real need, and with Xian's clingy attitude, it might not want to wait in the store for him to summon it. Why don't you put your bag on the seat next to you? There are plenty of vacant seats here. Seeing Su Ran sitting with a bag strapped on him, Tian Fudao couldn't help but suggest, speaking of it, why are you bringing such a big bag to the competition? Could it be a secret weapon? He chuckled. It'll come in handy later. Su Ran placed the bag on the seat beside and smiled mysteriously. You'll know when I get on stage. I'll be looking forward to it. Tian Fudao looked around and lowered his voice a bit. Do you know, there are rumors that 4 freaks who scored over 1,000 points in the preliminary registered this time. I know, Su Ran's mouth twitched slightly. Not only do I know, but I'm also one of them. Do you know who they are? Tian Fudao winked at Su Ran. You do? Su Ran was somewhat surprised. He and Tian Fudao haven't known each other before. Can it be that Tian Fudao already knows about his identity? I know half of it. Tian Fudao scratched his head. I've guessed the identities of 2 of those freaks. In fact, not just me. A good number of young beast masters in Qingzhou City have guessed it because they were already quite famous even before signing up. And it seems likely that I'm not one of the 2 people Tian Fudao knows about. Su Ran nodded in understanding, getting curious then. Could you tell me about those 2 people? Of course, no problem. Tian Fudao laughed, obviously enjoying the feeling of sharing intel with others. The first one is Liu Guang, the new generation inheritor of Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion. Martial Arts Pavilion? Su Ran raised his eyebrows. What's that? A martial arts pavilion is a place to practice martial arts. You know, beast masters can be boosted by their pet beast, strengthening their body to become more powerful in combat, Tian Fudao explained. That's not important, though. Most importantly, some fighting attribute pet beasts can learn human martial arts to become stronger. So, a lot of martial arts pavilions not only provide a place to practice martial arts, but also breed a few suitable fighting pet beast species, forming unique beast master styles. I think I understand. Su Ran nodded. So this beast master named Liu Guang has a fighting attribute pet beast and is very strong. Right, Tian Fudao talked earnestly. Liu Guang's pet beast is a combat bear, a fighting attribute pet beast. Half a month ago, Liu Guang visited the other martial arts pavilions with his pet beast, challenging their younger generation, undefeated in every match. That's indeed impressive. Su Ran's expression turned more serious. Looking around, he hoped to find the beast master named Liu Guang. Unfortunately, there were so many people in the spectator seats that it was hard to find any particular person. Tian Fudao chuckled. The second one is not any simpler. Chapter 60 noted down. And who's the second one? Su Ran asked with interest. The second one is the White Wolf Girl. Tian Fudao confirmed. When it comes to the next generation of beast masters in Qingzhou City who can compete with Liu Guang, she is definitely one of them. White Wolf Girl, Su Ran noted the title in his mind. I'm guessing that's not her real name, right? Correct, her real name is Sujiujiu. The reason she's called White Wolf Girl, however, is because the pet beast she has a contract with is an ice attribute Frost Dust Wolf, which has a pure white appearance. Frost Dust Wolf, Su Ran, who hadn't heard of this species, was a bit curious. It's a transcendent creature of colossal size that roams the icy plains. Tian Fudao gave a brief introduction. Sujiujiu's Frost Dust Wolf is over 5 meters in length. It looks quite intimidating. That big? Su Ran was somewhat surprised. The potential costs of cleaning and carrying a large pet beast instantly crossed his mind. He needed to find an opportunity to invite this person to his shop for the service. That frost dust wolf is far more than just gigantic in size. Tian Fudo smirked. Do you know why the white wolf girl is famous? She once left the city with her wolf and returned safely. His face took on a hint of longing. It said that the transcendent beings outside the city are very ferocious, and even elite-level beast masters must form teams to ensure mutual support. Indeed, Suran became serious. He had learned about the dangers outside the city, escorted by the tiger hunting squad, and he had a deep appreciation for the courage it took to go out and return safely. As for the other 2,000-point contestants that Tian Fudo didn't know about, other than Su Ran himself, he could guess the other one. It should be that girl called Gu Ling, if there are no surprises. She came from another city, so not many people knew her. Also, her dark-scale dragon is starlight level in all skills, so it is not much weaker than Xian. In this way, the identities of all 4,000-point contestants were clear. By the way, I haven't asked yet. Tian Fudo looked at Su Ran. How many points did you get in the preliminary round? Zhuang He, who had been silently listening to their conversation, suddenly sat up straight, pricked up his ears and pretended casually, leaning a little closer. My score, Su Ran blinked, skillfully began to dodge the question. My score was actually... Boom, boom, boom. Accompanied by the drumming that echoed throughout the venue, the talent auditions were just underway at this moment. The host rose from the elevator to the center of the venue and waved to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the talent show stage of the new Beast Master Challenge. In response to him was a roar of applause and cheers from the spectators. Seeing Tian Fudo and Zhuang He, who were standing by his side, immediately drawn to the host, Su Ran quietly closed his mouth. The timing was perfect. This way, he could interact with them as a regular person. After the host introduced the rules of the audition, he left the scene. Then, 10 Beast Masters, dressed in the Beast Master Association uniforms, took the stage together, summoning their pet beasts amidst the crowd's cheers. 10 hexagram star arrays were simultaneously flashing, appearing quite spectacular. The 10 beasts that stepped out had different forms, each possessing one of the 10 major attributes. Although they were all at the transcendent stage, they were quite impressive to look at. And their species were common in Qingzhou City, so there wasn't much need for introduction, as the contestants could identify them one by one. It started. Tian Fudo took a deep breath. These 10 opponents all look very strong. Defeating any of them won't be easy. But with careful observation, you can find some counter-relationships. Zhuang He calmly analyzed from the side. The organizers arranged for 10 beast masters of different attributes to appear, so we can choose the attribute that we can best counter. Makes sense. Tian Fudo looked at Zhuang He in surprise. Old Zhuang, you are talking a lot. Zhuang He rolled his eyes, then continued. Not only are there counter-relations in attributes, but also in attack modes. Some of these pet beasts excel in close combat, some in long-range attacks, some can fly, some can only move on land. This can also be a basis for choosing your opponent. By the looks of it, my fire pig can choose. Tian Fudo thought for a moment, chose his most suitable opponent, but his face suddenly fell. Almost forgot, I didn't pass the initial screening. I've already chosen my opponent, but I'll watch the other participants' performances first. Zhuang He crossed his arms and leaned back in his chair. After a small disturbance, the first volunteer to step forward from the audience had already jumped onto the battle stand. Su Ran, you. Tian Fudo turned to look at Su Ran on the other side, who was just about to ask if he had chosen his opponent, but was puzzled when seeing Su Ran's actions. What are you doing? I'm taking notes. Su Ran took out a pen and a notebook from his bag with a serious expression, his eyes focused on the contestants getting ready to fight. Can't be. Tian Fudo's mouth twitched slightly. Need to keep notes on site about the competitors. The battle for the first contestant ended quickly. He bravely chose the opponent he could best counter, but ended up losing after just a few rounds. These Beast Masters sent by the Beast Master Association were indeed powerful. This made the contestants who were preparing to take the stage right after him hesitate. Should they wait and see? He's really inexperienced. I could do better than him. Tian Fudo commented about the first contestant, then looked at Su Ran, who was jotting down notes. His mouth twitched again. Even such an inexperienced opponent required such serious note-taking. Brother Su Ran doesn't seem to be very skilled. He initially thought he would ask Su Ran about his preliminary score later, but now he felt there was no need to. Su Ran didn't notice Tian Fudao's strange looks. After diligently noting down Pang Xiang, medium-sized pet beast, fire attribute, no suitable skills for Xian, he lifted his head again. If Su Ran knew what Tian Fudao was thinking, he would probably cry out in injustice. Competitors, where were their competitors? Those were all his dear customers. Given such a rare opportunity to see a variety of powerful pet beasts, of course he had to note down his potential customers, especially those whose skills matched what Xian could learn. Xian hadn't learned new skills for a long time, and each time after washing and cleaning the pets of his customers, seeing Xian's expectant eyes, Su Ran felt a bit embarrassed. He didn't have a chance before, but now he did. He was going to note down all the thunder attribute pet beasts appearing today, as they were all his potential targets for taking advantage. Chapter 61, The New Skill in Action. As Su Ran was diligently recording the details of each competitor, on the other side of the audience, 4 young girls sat together observing the performances of the other contestants. Xiaoxiao, these competitors seem really strong. Lin Yue had a look of worry on her face as she watched the 10 beast masters on the field, feeling a bit timid. Don't worry about it, Su Xiaoxiao reassured her, patting Lin Yue's shoulder. Didn't I analyze it for you earlier? That earth attribute pet beast is the most suitable opponent for you. It hardly has any aerial attack skills. Against your green winged eagle, it's just a sitting duck. Moreover, Su Xiaoxiao's face was brushed with a teasing smile. If you don't make it today, there are still 2 more days of preliminary selection. You can go to Boss Su's shop tomorrow for washing and protection, and I'm sure you'll pass then. Yes, Lin Yue's eyes lit up. That's a great idea. PFF, Gu Ling chuckled at the girl's conversation, covering her mouth. I wonder what Boss Su would think if he knew you two were planning to go to his shop for washing and protection just to advance to the next round. It's fine, Lin Yue waved nonchalantly. Boss Su is busy managing his foster shop. He probably doesn't even know about this competition. You never know, Tilda, a mischievous glint pixelated in Gu Ling's eye. Because of her father's connections, she had more insider information. She had clear understanding of the situations of other competitors who scored more than 1,000 in the initial selection. To be honest, she was quite surprised when she saw that name. Enough about that. Su Xiaoxiao grabbed Duan Angsun's hand, who was unable to join in the conversation. And Zun, has your aunt forgiven you yet? It's gotten better, Duan Angsun nodded slightly. Once sworn enemies, the 2 women had quickly bridged the gap after that one emotional confrontation. In contrast, Du Ting, who had previously been close to Duan Angsun, was now gradually distancing herself. Realizing her mistakes, Duan Angsun spent the past week trying to mend her relationship with the colorful cloud parrot. Ultimately, after plucking up the courage to stand against her mother, any previous conflict with the colorful cloud parrot had melted away. However, due to her not doing many things as per her mother's wishes and outspokenly expressing her thoughts, Duan Angsun ended up in a cold war with her mother. That's good. If you feel wronged, you can always talk to me, Su Xiaoxiao patted her hand. Good luck with the competition later. If you get through the preliminary selection, maybe your aunt will be happier. All right, Duan Angsun let out a slight relieved smile. The best way to end this cold war with her mother would probably be to prove that she can be outstanding even without following her plan and demands. Gu Ling rested her chin on her hand, staring at Su Xiaoxiao with a smile. This kid is still the same as she was when she was younger, caring about everyone around her, like a flame, warming everyone equally. That earth attribute pet beast just got challenged once. I'll give it a shot now. Lin Yue suddenly stood up, shouting excitedly before scrambling down to the field. Su Xiaoxiao turned to look at Lin Yue's retreating figure, her mouth twitched slightly. Isn't this a bit like taking advantage of someone's difficulties? Well, indeed it would be, if that earth attribute pet beast wasn't substituted. Gu Ling suddenly began to laugh, but the Beast Master Association isn't that naive. Just as Su Xiaoxiao was about to ask Gu Ling what she meant by that, she immediately understood upon seeing the change in the field. The earth attribute pet beast and its beast master were replaced. In their place came another pet beast of the same species and a new beast master. During the breaks in the matches, these 10 pet beasts will recover as much as they can. If they haven't regained their peak conditions when challenged next, they will be directly replaced by another alternate beast master, Gu Ling shrugged. So there's no such thing as whittling down their strengths through successive battles. Looking at Lin Yue, who was dumbfounded on the field, Su Xiaoxiao couldn't help but let out a chuckle. It serves her right. Lin Yue. Subconsciously writing down the name of the new contestant on his notebook, Su Ran abruptly looked up, surprised to see a familiar customer on the field. She is participating in this competition as well. And what about the other few girls that he knew? Following the direction from where Lin Yue had appeared, Su Ran soon saw the figures of the other 3 girls. It seems they all showed up. There was no need to keep any record of his regular customers. Su Ran put down his notebook and began to watch the competition. On the field, Lin Yue gave a commendable performance. With the high altitude and long-range attack advantages of her green winged eagle, the Earth attribute pet beast, devoid of any aerial attack abilities, was forced on the back foot. However, Earth attribute pet beasts were known for their strong defenses. It was in a bit of a predicament but showed no signs of panic. As the fight proceeded, the green winged eagle, which had been launching attack after attack, quickly depleted its strength, while the Earth attribute pet beast, cool as a cucumber, shook the rocky shield covering its body, undamaged. The challenge failed. Xian had its back paws on Su Ran's thigh while its front paws were pressing on his arm, raising its body to watch every match. Presently, seeing the familiar green winged eagle fail, it pondered a bit then spoke. Meow tilde, if it were me, I could have beaten it with electric spark. Exactly, electric spark has greater power and enough to break its defense. Su Ran nodded in agreement, replying via contractual sensing. Upon receiving Su Ran's affirmative response, Xian squinted its eyes happily. Well, it seems the preliminary selection is not that difficult then. Too bad there are no thunder attribute beasts here. Otherwise, we could have brought one back to the shop for washing and protection, and you might have had a chance to learn a new skill, Su Ran lamented using contractual sensing. Meow tilde got it. Xian nodded, carefully watching the next contestant on the field. Thunder attribute, huh? I'll keep an extra close eye. Old Zhuang is finally up. On the side, Tian Fudao looked at Zhuang He, who was getting ready to go on stage, his eyes brimming with anticipation. He patted Su Ran's shoulder. Let's see how old Zhuang performs. He said he's confident of passing. All right, Su Ran nodded with a smile. What attribute is Zhuang He's pet beast? His, Tian Fudao chuckled, is a thunder attribute. Su Ran. I think I need to pay careful attention then, he said with a suggestive smile, picking up his pen and paper. Keynotes to take. Xian in Su Ran's arms twitched its ears, its gaze fixed on Zhuang He, who was preparing to enter the field. A walking new skill, I must keep a close eye on him. On the field, as the competitor who went after Lin Yue was defeated, Zhuang He, under the host's introduction, stepped onto the stage, pointed to one of the 10 beast masters and declared, I choose you. Oh. The water attribute beast master who was chosen squinted his eyes. My turn. These beast masters sent by the Beast Master Association would receive a bonus if they defeated the challenger. Having seen his companions being chosen one after the other, he had been itching to show off his skills. Let's use this kid to show off my strength. The next moment, the Beast Master looked at Zhuang He's summoned pet beast, and his mouth twitched involuntarily. Thunder attribute. Chapter 62 is that, Boss Su. Heh, I knew Zhuang He would choose a water attribute opponent. Tian Fudao smirked. After all, the thunder attribute can restrain the water attribute. Su Ran nodded slightly. After cramming beast mastery knowledge, he was already very proficient in the common sense of attribute counteractions. Among the common 10 attributes, wind restrains earth, earth restrains thunder, thunder restrains water, water restrains fire, fire restrains ice, and ice restrains wind. These 6 attributes form a complete chain of restraint. Aside from this, the pairs of dark, light, super ability and fighting attributes counter each other, carrying a sense of an arch rivalry. Hence, for players who own thunder attribute pet beasts, choosing water attribute pet beasts as opponents is a completely reasonable choice. At this moment, he also made out Zhuang He's pet beast clearly. It was a locust of about 1 meter in length. Its body, based on purple, had golden patterns and lines. Its 2 bent hind legs were slender and robust, obviously possessing astonishing jumping power. The curved hooks at the end of its 4 front legs, which spouted jumping electric arcs, were equally ferocious. A thunder attribute pet beast, lightning locust. Despite appearing somewhat abstract, it is one of the stronger species among thunder attribute pet beasts, extremely fast and ordinarily difficult to deal with. On the other hand, its opponent. It was a seal, shining under the sun with its smooth sky-blue body, while the front flippers support its body, its upper half standing tall, dragging the slender tail behind. A water attribute pet beast, the blue water lion. No wonder the blue water lion's beast master looked annoyed. The attributes of the two pet beasts happened to restrain each other, and what's worse, the lightning locust was not only agile but also capable of flying, while the blue water lion moved rather slowly. Accompanying the electric bell sound symbolizing the start of the battle, the two pet beasts simultaneously attacked their opponents. Zilla. The hind legs of the lightning locust suddenly applied force, and the moment the thunderbolt exploded, its figure had already disappeared. It then appeared in front of the blue water lion, as if it had teleported. 2-star skills, Stardust level Thunderbolt Flash. Xian's eyes grew wide instantly. This Stardust level skill already had a speed comparable to its Starlight level Electric Arc. If this skill were upgraded to Starlight level, its eyes lit up in an instant. I want it. This skill has usage limitations. Unlike the Electric Arc, it can't be used at any time. Su Ran gently patted Xian's head as he began to speak. But the look in his eyes was brighter than Xian's. Thunderbolt Flash and Electric Arc each had their strengths and weaknesses, but what if the two skills were fused? Would the fused skill possess the advantages of these two skills? In the field, the battle between the two pet beasts had just begun. Facing the sudden approach of the lightning locust, the blue water lion was slightly panicked, but under the correct guidance of the beast master, it quickly responded. Roar! It roared, and a ball of water blue light instantly condensed from its mouth, which then opened wide over a large area, turning into a water net with a diameter of 10 meters wrapping around the lightning locust as if aiming to trap it inside. 2-star skills, Stardust level Water Prison. Considering the proficiency of this skill, it wouldn't be far from reaching the Starlight level. The lightning locust had a look of disdain in its eyes. Faced with the water prison that limited its actions, it collided head-on without dodging or avoiding. At the same time, violent thunder was surging around it. Several thunderbolts followed the water net, heading directly towards the blue water lion. 2-star skills, Starlight level Thunderstrike. In the nick of time, the lightning locust unhesitatingly used its only skill that had reached the Starlight level. Zap! Purple electric arcs intertwined, hitting the blue water lion in an instant and completely enveloping it. The blue water lion roared in pain and struggled within the electric arcs, eventually collapsing powerlessly to the ground. Zhuanghe, victorious and advancing to the next round. In the audience, Su Ran's eyes shone a little brighter. Not just Thunderbolt Flash, the Thunder Strike skill was also impressive. Both it and Electric Spark were long-range Thunder attribute skills, but their attack methods were not the same. Electric Spark was an area attack, with a certain explosiveness, while Thunder Strike was more focused on single-target attack, extremely fast in attack speed. These two skills could be kept separate, serving as complementary means of strike. He wanted both skills of the lightning locust. Quickly jotting down Zhuanghe's situation in his notebook and marking a special symbol in front of his name, Su Ran nodded in satisfaction. Who would have thought that such a high-quality customer would be right beside him? Old Zhuang, that was impressive. You certainly deserve to be a beast master who scored over 300 points in the preliminary screening. Tian Fudao gave a thumbs up to Zhuanghe, who was returning from the stage, his loud voice attracting the attention of the surrounding audience. Zhuanghe scored 300 points in the preliminary screening. No wonder he was so powerful, winning and advancing in one shot. I just performed normally, Zhuanghe commented calmly, then sat back in his original seat. However, his lips were slightly lifted, indicating that he was in a good mood. The lightning locust performed really well just now. Su Ran mysteriously appeared beside Zhuanghe, having moved from Tian Fudao's side. He held Xian in his arms and gave Zhuanghe a friendly smile. I think you should reward it. Indeed. Zhuanghe nodded seriously, touched the lightning locust that had left the field with him. I will buy it some treats later. No, Su Ran shook his head. Just treats aren't enough for a reward. Do you have any better suggestions? Zhuanghe asked humbly. Washing and protection, Su Ran spoke slowly. After a tough match, your pet beast needs a comprehensive washing and protection treatment to achieve physical and mental pleasure. Zhuanghe. Was that match just now that difficult? And what the hell is washing and protection? Look at my pet beast. Su Ran held up Xian, who was in his arms. Xian, who understood the situation, stood up proudly, radiating the most elegant posture. Last night, Su Ran had just given it a washing and protection treatment, which left it practically the same now. With such stunning beauty, even Zhuang He, who didn't really pay attention to appearances, couldn't help but exclaim. This is the result of washing and protection. Su Ran spoke calmly. In addition to this, maintaining a good physical and mental state also allows pet beasts to better exert their strength. Really, Zhuang He was half convinced. Next, let me show you the effect of washing and protection. Su Ran swung his bag behind him, nodded at Zhuang He, and headed straight for the battle stand. Yue, don't be discouraged. Su Xiaoxiao slung her arm over Lin Yue's shoulder, gently comforting her. My green-winged eagle couldn't even break that guy's defense. How am I supposed to advance? Lin Yue scrunched up her little face, full of frustration. Your attack was too scattered. Gu Ling, who was by their side, suddenly said, you wasted a lot of power on empty areas because of the large attack range. So your opponent consumed less energy than you. All they had to do was keep up their defense, and they easily won. I'll be sure to pay attention next time. Lin Yue took a deep breath and looked at the field before blanking out. Isn't that Boss Su? Chapter 63, We Don't Know Him. Hearing Lin Yue's voice of surprise, the other three women simultaneously directed their gaze towards the field. Su Ran hasn't been on stage yet, but he was already standing at the edge of the competition site and only needed to wait for the current contestant to finish the fight before his turn came next. My goodness, Boss Su is actually part of the competition. Lin Yue exclaimed, completely surprised, as if she's seeing her neighbor being on TV all of a sudden. It's actually normal. Su Xiaoxiao regained her senses after a brief moment of surprise. Boss Su's pet beast had defeated Little Flame before. He would definitely be able to get through the initial screening round with his skills. Boss Su is also young enough to meet the age requirement. You're right. Hearing Su Xiaoxiao's comments, Lin Yue also came back to her senses, realizing that she may have overreacted a bit. She couldn't help but ask as she looked at Su Ran, who was waiting to go on stage. Do you think Boss Su can win and advance? Boss Su's pet beast is also of thunder attribute, similarly excelling in agility. It's quite similar to the lightning locust, although its strength may not be as strong. Hearing Lin Yue's words, Su Xiaoxiao started analyzing seriously. I think he can beat the blue water lion. I agree. Duan Engson chimed in from the side, agreeing with Su Xiaoxiao's view. My opinion is a bit different from yours. Gu Ling suddenly started laughing. Gu Ling, do you think Boss Su will lose? Su Xiaoxiao turned to look at her. No, Gu Ling shook her head. I think he wouldn't choose the blue water lion as his opponent. Huh? A surprised look appeared on Su Xiaoxiao's face. Not choosing the blue water lion. But wouldn't the difficulty of the battle increase significantly if he didn't choose the water attribute, which the thunder attribute has an advantage over? The remaining 9 pet beasts flashed through her mind one by one. First, exclude the earth attribute, which restricts the thunder attribute. The other 8 attributes didn't have much of a restrictive relationship with the thunder attribute. However, these opponents were also not afraid of agility types. A few of them even surpassed Su Ran's pet beast in terms of agility. It seemed none of them were easy victories. Could it be that Boss Su was really willing to give up an easily won victory and opt for a more difficult contest? Su Xiaoxiao was somewhat lost. In the field, the previous contestant left the stage after his defeat. Su Ran, holding Xian, strided confidently onto the battle stand. The narrator's voice echoed across the field. Stepping on the stage now is the 23-year-old contestant Su Ran. His pet beast is the electric chasing cat, and he is the owner of a pet beast foster shop. As the announcer got to the second half of the sentence, even his tone of voice started to sound a little strange. In the audience, the chatter was picking up once more. The owner of a pet beast foster shop. Most people saw this as a logistical role that serves other beast masters, pet beasts. When did such a service provider ever end up on a stand designated for beast masters? Without waiting for Su Ran to take action, several audience members had already crossed him off mentally. Next to the seats designated for Su Ran, the expressions on Tian Fudao and Zhuang He's faces became extremely peculiar. The two of them spontaneously remembered the words Su Ran had said earlier. So, was he trying to advertise his washing and protection shop? Just as this idea popped into their heads, Su-ran moved on stage. He took out a flagpole from the stuffed backpack on his back and unfolded it vigorously, waving it mightily towards the audience. On the red flag, a line of golden letters was embossed. Starfare Foster Shop, offering the best care for your pet beast. Seeing that flag flapping in the wind, the audience fell into a strange silence. The expressions on Tian Fudao and Zhuang He's faces turned even stranger. Su-ran was truly advertising. On the other side of the audience, the expressions of the four women Su Xiaoxiao, Gu Ling, Lin Yue, and Duan Angsun turned downcast. After a long while, Lin Yue spoke up in a small voice, "Should we pretend we don't know Boss Su?" The other three women quickly nodded in agreement. Zhang Yun, situated in a corner of the audience seats, had his eyes wide open as he watched Su-ran waving the flag on stage. His mind was filled with shock. The conversation he had had with Su-ran 2 days ago echoed in his mind again. How can I advertise during the competition? I don't have money for sponsorship. Small-minded, too small-minded. Think about it, Boss Su. Who gets the most attention during a competition? The contestants. If you're on stage, all eyes would be on you. Wouldn't it be easy to advertise then? Now that you mention it, I have an idea. Thanks a lot. Zhang Yun tried to speak but stopped himself, then tried to stop but wanted to speak again. No, what I meant was you could put your shop's name or something on your clothes. I didn't ask you to advertise like this. With the uproar and jeers from the spectators around him, Zhang Yun couldn't help but shrink his head. He didn't know Su-ran. This whole idea had nothing to do with him. After a short silence, the audience area was suddenly buzzing again. Instead of competing, he was using the platform for advertisement. This was absolutely outrageous. What on earth is going on? I am here to watch a competition, not an advertisement. How much money did this guy give to the organizers? Does a guy like him even qualify to sign up for the competition? Boycott, the shop is called Starfare Foster Shop, right? Let's not patronize it. The spectators were a melting pot of vitriolic complaints, a sea of angry voices. Suddenly, the reluctant voice of the host came through the loudspeakers across the venue. Contestant Su-ran, please quickly choose your opponent and start your battle. All right then. Hearing the host's prompt, Su-ran took the hint and set the flag aside on the ground. After waving the flag for so long, everyone should have remembered the name of the Starfare Foster Shop by now, right? With that done, it could be said to be effective. Now he should fulfill his promise to Zhuanghe and show him the effects of washing and protection. If he couldn't fool Zhuanghe into trying the washing and protection, he and Xian would be losing a fortune. Since he needed to show off his abilities then. Su-ran's gaze swept across the 10 opponents. Then, without any hesitation, he pointed to the beast master linked to an earth attribute pet beast and said, I choose you. The chosen beast master's face showed a surprised expression, and he looked at Su-ran with an absurd feeling as if to say, are you joking with me? Are you sure? Yes. Su-ran gave a firm nod. His voice was picked up by the venue's microphones and amplified across the entire venue. Immediately, it was met with even larger waves of murmuring. Ignoring the blatant self-advertisement, he was even going to try fighting against the attributes. I get it. A boy sitting not far from Su Xiaoxiao and her friend stood up and shouted, he's doing it on purpose. If he loses because his attribute is at a disadvantage, it would be understandable. That way, even if he gets eliminated due to his weak abilities, he would have an excuse. You're talking nonsense. Boss Su isn't that kind of person. Despite joking about pretending not to know Su-ran earlier, Su Xiaoxiao couldn't help but stand up at this moment. He chose this way, there must be assurance. Unfortunately, the other people ignored her words. They quickly believed in the boy's theory and continued to criticize Su-ran. You guys, Su Xiaoxiao puffed her cheeks out, looking a bit displeased. It's okay. Gu Ling gently patted her on the shoulder. Boss Su will win. Believe in him. Chapter 64. Is washing and protection really effective? Bold move. Kong Zin, the beast master controlling the earth attribute pet beast, was amused by Su-ran's overconfident demeanor. Thunder attribute against earth attribute. How embarrassing would it be if you win? Come. With Kong Zin's shout, the earth attribute pet beast standing in front of him took a step forward, aggressively growling at Su-ran and Xian. This pet beast, resembling a durian with a snake head and turtle feet and countless irregular stone spikes over its body, was not towering with its 1 meter length. Still, it was a size larger than Xian, making it appear incredibly fierce. Earth attribute pet beast, the thorny dragon beast. Both sides stood in the ready battle area. The atmosphere in the field froze instantly. Many spectators were still shouting. At first the shouts were messy, but at some point they became uniform, turning into an orderly chant of eliminate. Xian, defeat the opponent as soon as possible. It's time to show our power, Su Ran calmly spoke, ignoring the deafening cheers. Meow tilde. Xian's eyes were full of fighting spirit. It understood. In this battle, the stronger it displayed itself, the better the effect of cleaning and caring would seem. This could convince the beast master of Lightning Locust to use their shop's cleaning services, and it could acquire new skills. In other words, fighting hard for new skills. Ding! As the bell ring signaling the start of the match sounded, both pet beasts on the field moved at the same time. Viz. Accompanied by the loud explosion of an electric arc, Xian's body was instantly covered with overlapping electric arcs. Terrifying sparks of electricity roamed around its body, even shooting out from its different colored pupils. The next moment, with just the remaining shadow of a bolt of lightning slowly dissipating, Xian instantly appeared 5 meters in front of the thorny dragon beast. Wherever it passed, lightning was like a blanket. 2-star skills, starlight level electric arc. Roar! The thorny dragon beast's pupils contracted dramatically, and it immediately activated its defensive skills. Mud rose from under its feet and eventually gathered above its head, wrapping it layer by layer to form a dense and solid mud shell. 2-star skills, Stardust level Earth Guardianship. This skill has extremely strong defensive power, and judging from the thorny dragon beast's instant activation speed, it's only 1 step away from the Starlight level. Just now, Lin Yue's Green Wind Eagle, despite having the upper hand in attribute, had to leave the field remorsefully under this skill's defense. And now, the one facing it is Xian with a restrained attribute. Almost at the moment when Earth Guardianship was formed, Xian's attack arrived. It was a brilliant deep purple ball of light. The horrifying fluctuations brewing within it gave the thorny dragon beast, which was hiding inside the mud shell, a series of heart palpitations. Under the scrutiny of countless pairs of eyes, the deep purple ball of light touched the mud shell and bloomed rapidly. Countless bolts of lightning covered the entire mud shell in the moment it exploded, and the 10-meter diameter central thunder area seemed to have a target, with endless violent thunderbolts falling on the mud shell. 2-star skills, Starlight level Electric Spark. Boom! Accompanied by a terrifying blast, under Kang Xin's confused and shocked gaze, the mud shell was torn apart by the electricity as if it was paper-made. The exposed thorny dragon beast didn't even have a chance to react, and was swallowed by countless lightning bolts on the spot. And before the thorny dragon beast could struggle, Xian, who was close at hand, flashed into the thunder and lightning. Xian's long tail supports the thorny dragon beast's large body. With a sweep, it effortlessly blew the thorny dragon beast tens of meters away and fell heavily outside the field. 2-star skills, Starlight level Battle Instinct. Looking at the thorny dragon beast blackened by scorch and unconscious outside the field, the whole venue again fell into silence. Those who were previously yelling, elimination, seemed to have something stuck in their throats and couldn't make a sound. They watched with wide eyes without a single peep. How did this reverse attribute battle reach this outcome? This is impossible. The young man who initially led the rhythm collapsed in his seat. Looking at the fallen thorny dragon beast and the relaxed Xian, he showed an unprecedented look of confusion. This is impossible. I told you Boss Su had confidence in choosing an Earth attribute pet beast. None of you believed me. Su Xiaoxiao huffed, but her face was also filled with surprise. When did Boss Su become so powerful? Gu Ling laughed and pulled Su Xiaoxiao's sleeve, leaned over to her ear and whispered something. Su Xiaoxiao was initially surprised and then enlightened. Boss Su, you're amazing. No wonder Gu Ling had so much confidence in him. On the other side of the stands, Zhang Yun was startled looking at the impressive scene of Su Ran and Xian. He had thought that the pet beast trained by Su Ran would be strong, but wasn't this too outrageous? Then he suddenly remembered something and shuddered. Did you see that? That's my brother, Zhang Yun yelled. The Starfair foster care shop is trustworthy, you can't go wrong choosing them. On the field, Su Ran, who just finished the battle, hugged Xian, who jumped into his arms and rubbed its head. You did very well. Meow tilde necessary. Xian rubbed Su Ran's hand with its head, a look of anticipation on its face. Since it performed so well, it should be able to get a new skill right. As if reading Xian's thoughts, Su Ran smiled. Let's go, let's talk to Zhuanghe again. Oh yeah. When passing by the flagpole, he picked up the flag and waved it a few times before putting it into his bag. The custom-made flag cost dozens. It couldn't be wasted. It could be used next time. This time, no one objected to his advertising. What's wrong with being a bit different if you have the strength? In the stands, Tian Fudao and Zhuanghe watched as Su Ran step by step walked towards them with wooden expressions. What are you thinking? Zhuanghe suddenly asked. I'm thinking. I seem to know who the third contestant with 1,000 points is, Tian Fudao lamented. He's really good at hiding. What about you? Tian Fudao retorted and then looked at Zhuanghe. What are you thinking? I'm thinking. Zhuanghe started expressionlessly. Perhaps the difference between him and me is the washing and protection part. Ah, this? Tian Fudao gave Zhuanghe a speechless look. What was wrong with him before? He hadn't noticed this guy lacked creativity. How was it? With a smiling face, Su Ran sat back next to Zhuanghe. As you can see, cleaning and caring for a beast does improve its physical and mental condition. Meow tilde. Xian quickly nodded, giving Zhuanghe a sincere look. Look, I'm so strong because of the beast master's cleaning and caring. Zhuanghe took a deep breath, looking at Su Ran. Tell me, where is the Starfair foster care shop? Tian Fudao at the side couldn't sit still anymore. Can you also clean and care for my pet beast? It needs emotional and physical care too. No matter if it needs it or not, its needs are my needs. I said it. Chapter 65, 2-star skill fusion. Welcome to Come Again Tilda. Watching the bewildered looks of Zhuanghe and Tian Fudao as they left the foster shop, Su Ran couldn't hide his smile. Sold. He had assumed that Zhuanghe would need to visit the wash and protection service several more times before he could acquire the desired skill from plucking fur. He hadn't expected things to go so smoothly this time. Host Su Ran. Contract power first stage. Contract pet beast, Xian view details. System skills. Plucking fur C level, 15,100. Drug application D level, 30,100. Pet beast skills. Thunderbolt Flash, teachable. Useless skills omitted. Physical points, 0. Pleasure value, 7342. System upgrade experience, 301,000. Though he also coveted the other party's 2-star skill, Thunder Strike, plucking fur could only yield 1 skill at a time, so this would have to do for now. Meow tilde, is it ready yet? Seeing the joy on the beast master's face, Xian's eyes lit up and it eagerly approached, anticipation written all over its face. After waiting for so long, was it finally about to learn a new skill? That's right, it's ready. Su Ran laughed and without hesitation taught Xian the Thunderbolt Flash. But that wasn't all. He then selected Thunderbolt Flash and Electric Arc. Thunderbolt Flash plus Electric Arc. Fusion success rate, 5.2%. Proceed with fusion. Yes, no. Such a low probability, Su Ran drew in a sharp breath. Merging 2-star skills, indeed, proved to be much more difficult than 1-star ones. However, comparatively, this skill had a noticeably better compatibility with Electric Arc than Electric Spark, which only had a 1.3% fusion success rate with Electric Arc. Before confirming the fusion, Su Ran selected other skills one by one, using them with Thunderbolt Flash to experiment, eventually confirming Electric Arc to be the most suitable skill for Thunderbolt Flash. If so, there was nothing more to discuss. Let's do this. Fusion failed. The probability increased from 5.2% to 10%. Su Ran didn't hesitate to try again. Fusion failed. This time the rate rose to 16.7%. Continue. Fusion failed. Looking at the skill fusion with a success rate of 23.4%, Su Ran took a deep breath and threw in his last skill fusion stone. Make it a success, please. Fusion success. As Su Ran continued to merge, Xian's expression changed time and time again. It could only feel a large amount of experience pouring into its mind, and before it had time to savor it, the experience disappeared. What also disappeared was the Electric Arc skill, which it had practiced countless times. As the two faded away, they were replaced by a brand new skill. Xian's eyes slowly widened. Here it is again. That familiar feeling is here again. Su Ran felt that the world had suddenly become beautiful. 3 stars, 3 stars. Previously, the fusion of 2 1-star skills resulted in a 2-star skill named Battle Instinct. Now the fusion involved 2 2-star skills. Following a successful fusion, it should be a 3-star skill, right? With that thought, he couldn't help but open the system panel. Contract Pet Beast, Xian. Race Name, Electric Chasing Cat. Attribute, Thunder Attribute. Growth Stage, Transcendent Stage, 452/500+. Species Rank, Leader Species. Skills, Electric Spark, Starlight Level. Electric Pursue, Starlight Level. Battle Instinct, Starlight Level. Self-Healing Power, Starlight Level. Blood Fury, Starlight Level. The smile on Su Ran's face gradually froze. Thunderbolt Flash and Electric Arc successfully fused, resulting in a new skill, Electric Pursue. But why is Electric Pursue, which was fused from 2 2-star skills, still a 2-star skill? This doesn't make sense. He took a deep breath, turned his head towards Xian. Xian, let's try this new skill out. He wanted to see what this new skill was all about. Meow tilde. Xian naturally had no objection. In fact, after feeling the situation of this new skill, it was somewhat impatient. This new skill, it's powerful. It's much stronger than the previous Electric Arc. Lightly leaping to the ground, purple arcs of electricity instantly burst forth from Xian. In Su Ran's surprised gaze, its limbs seemed to be energy converted, completely turning into a form made up of condensed lightning. Zyla. In the moment the lightning flashed, Xian moved from one side of the shop to the other as if it had teleported. This speed. Su Ran's expression gradually turned shocked. Even compared with the Starlight Level's Thunderbolt Flash, it was not inferior. But it had an advantage that Thunderbolt Flash didn't, which was that it could be used continuously. Watching Xian flash around the shop, Su Ran's expression gradually turned excited. His gaze landed heavily on the path Xian had taken. Strands of electric arc kept exploding where it had appeared. Evidently, the paralyzing effect from the electric arc after being upgraded to the Starlight level was still retained. This new skill called Electric Pursue, it's powerful. Looking at Xian, who obediently landed in front of him, Su Ran gradually figured it out. There's a gap between 2 stars and 2 stars. Merely relying on 2 2-star skills, it is impossible to fuse to get a 3-star skill. Perhaps more 2-star skills are needed, or 2 stronger 2-star skills could achieve this. The fusion of Thunderbolt Flash and Electric Arc can only obtain a stronger 2-star skill. If there is a suitable skill to fuse with Electric Pursue again in the future, it will be closer to 3 stars, and eventually obtain a genuine 3-star skill. Though it may be more difficult, there's still hope. Just by encountering a suitable Beastmaster, he already gained much. This made Su Ran even more assured that his current direction was correct. Can't wait for the right Beastmaster to come to him. Then take the initiative. Boss, what services does your Starfare foster care shop offer? Another customer walked into the foster shop. Su Ran revealed a smile, quickly stepping forward. Allow me to introduce them to you. Although Su Ran had advanced, the preliminary competition did not end. In the remaining 2 days of the preliminaries, many powerful Beastmasters stood out. There were Beastmasters riding huge bear pet beasts, personally dueling with the Beastmasters dispatched by the Association and defeating them, advancing smoothly and earning the nickname of Bear Knight. There were also Beastmasters who contracted rare weapon-type pet beasts, with one person and one sword easily defeating opponents and advancing, earning the title Sword Guest. And there was a Beastmaster who commandeered a husky with a sword in its mouth, wielding powerful sword energy all around, making the audience exclaim, "The dog swordsman has arrived." As these Beastmaster competitors displayed their power in the preliminaries, a rumor was widely circulated amid the passionate discussions among the public. Apparently, the preliminaries weren't the first hurdle in the selection of contestants. During registration, these contestants had already gone through a threshold known as a primary screening. In this primary screening, 4 contestants scored over 1,000 points, displaying immense strength. With this news spreading, the performances of all advancing contestants in the preliminaries were singled out for horizontal comparison by curious spectators. As the curtain fell on the third day of the preliminary contest, the four most powerful contestants were identified. Chapter 66, What the Hell is a Deceitful Merchant? Among these four participants, two of them already had quite a fame in the Beast Master community, even before the competition began. They were Liu Guang, the inheritor of Bamboo Leaf Martial Arts Pavilion, who has surpassed the younger generation of martial artists in Qingzhou City. Su Jiuju, the white wolf girl who traveled alone outside the city and returned safely. The other two were not so well known, but after a comparison, they were also quickly confirmed. They were the mysterious transfer student from the second high school for Beast Masters, Black Dragon Princess Gu Ling. Su Ran, who was dubbed the advertising trickster for advertising at the competition venue. Compared with the former three, the last one, Su Ran, sparked quite a lot of discussions in the Beast Master community with his unconventional approach, and many Beast Masters became interested in the Starfair foster care shop he runs. However, after the prices for washing and fosterage at the Starfair foster care shop were exposed, most of the eager Beast Masters gave up the idea of visiting. So expensive, he's truly an advertising trickster. On the other hand, Su Ran, who was labeled as a trickster, spent these 2 days very happily. Qingzhou City was not lacking rich Beast Masters. Although most of them were discouraged by the price, the remaining ones were enough to give him a taste of sweetness. In 2 days, he washed and groomed 6 new customers, and after some inspection, 3 Beast Masters left their pet beasts to be fostered in his shop. The rapid increase of pleasure value and physical point was the happiest thing for him. The only regret was that, after obtaining Thunderbolt Flash, no other skills that could teach Xian were gained in these 2 days of plucking fur. The considerable benefits he gained just from the preliminary competition further confirmed Su Ran's determination to stick for a few more rounds in the new Beast Masters Challenge match. One more round of advertisements could attract more customers. Goodbye. After seeing off another Beast Master customer, Su Ran yawned and looked at the gradually dimming sky outside the shop door. It was closing time again after a busy day. Meow Tilda, the rematch is tomorrow, right? Xian hopped lightly onto Su Ran's shoulder with anticipation in its eyes. Every match meant more customers would come to the shop, which also meant it could learn more skills and become stronger. Yes, the preliminary competition ended today, and according to the schedule, there will be no interval between the preliminary and rematch, so the rematch is tomorrow. Su Ran smiled. I am thinking about how to advertise more effectively tomorrow. Meow Tilda, go for it. Xian gave Su Ran an encouraging look. Just as the two were about to close the shop, a figure hurriedly approached. Boss, are you closing? Liu Gu was leading the bloody-winged lion dog and blinked, then I'll come back tomorrow. Su Ran immediately let go of the hand he had placed on the shop door. Closing? What closing? Su Ran smiled warmly at Lucky Liu. You can have a wash and grooming now. If it were other people, it would be fine, but if it's Lucky Uncle, he absolutely would take care of his dog. Well, he happened to have accumulated 10 in a row in these past 2 days. Liu Gu came at the right time. Great, Liu Gu scratched his head with a hee-hee laugh. While watching his drama and eating snacks, Liu Gu stayed calm amid the winged lion dog's familiarly strange growls. Soon, Su Ran led the brand new dog out. You've worked hard, boss. Looking at the dog that had once again become something he could not afford to own, Liu Gu laughed heartily. I was used to seeing my dog all dirty and didn't think it was much, but now that I often wash it and groom it, I'm not used to seeing him too dirty. Well, even though it costs more money. But daily washing and grooming have fully stimulated the dog's combat enthusiasm. The gains from going out of the city these days have been notably more than before. In fact, he has made more profit after all. Habit becomes nature. Su Ran casually patted Liu Gu's shoulder, and his smile got brighter. 3 skill fusion stones, 2 energy-abundant potions. Uncle Liu's lucky constitution is just as always so stable. Speaking of which, I saw a post on the Beast Masters forum today. Liu Gu looked at Su Ran with a slightly strange expression. Did you participate in that new Beast Masters challenge match? Yes, it was a customer who recommended me to go there. Su Ran nodded. Hey, it's really you, Liu Gu laughed. Advertising your own shop in the competition, that's really interesting. I just opened the shop not long ago, and I didn't have the money to advertise, so I had to resort to this. Su Ran scratched his head. Uncle Liu, do you also check the forum? Of course, Although there are often some unprofessional posts in the forum, you can still find a lot of useful information if you search carefully. Liu Gu said seriously, for hunting squads like us, we can understand the movement of the beast tide outside the city on it. If you need something, you can also post for help on the forum and let more people help you find ways. I'll give it a try, Su Ran nodded earnestly. He had been too busy these past 2 days and hadn't logged onto the forum. Speaking of which, he made a post when he first registered. He didn't know if anyone had replied. All right, I'll go first, Liu Gu laughed. It seems that your rematch is tomorrow, right? I just happen to be free. I'll go to the scene to cheer for you. Thank you, Uncle Liu. Su Ran watched Liu Gu leave, then closed the shop door. After feeding the 4 pet beasts downstairs, he picked up Xian and went upstairs, then logged into the forum on his cell phone. The post he made before had long been lost in the sea of posts, with no one showing any interest. However, after checking the new posts on the forum, Su Ran's face gradually darkened. What the hell is advertising trickster? Looking at the nickname someone gave him, Su Ran was annoyed. I'll get that guy who came up with the nickname. He just simply advertised. Didn't he know what's called honest business? After a quick browse, he didn't find too much interesting content. Su ran through the cell phone aside, sat cross-legged on the bed, and closed his eyes to meditate. He has pretty much learned all the general knowledge about beast masters that he needed to know after a period of cramming. And now he also had this artifact called Meditation Acceleration Card. Su Ran wished he could meditate for 24 hours a day. Unfortunately, he still needed to run the foster shop during the day. The gains of pleasure value and other skills were also the foundation of his strength, and he couldn't give them up. He could only work harder at night. Seeing the beast master who was working hard to improve his contract power through meditation, Xian's face showed a touch of emotion. It still remembered that it was very difficult for the beast master to persist in meditating for even 10 minutes in the beginning, but now he was working so hard to break through to elite stage. Moved. Xian lightly walked on the soft mattress, quietly grabbed a corner of the blanket without making a sound, carefully covered Su Ran's legs and waist which were sitting cross-legged, then carefully crawled into the blanket, leaned close to Su Ran and fell asleep with peace of mind. Chapter 67, Hitting Myself. Today's rematch has different rules from the previous knockout round. Holding Xian on their way to the rematch site, Su Ran began to explain today's competition rules to the little guy. Today's rematch will be a brutal melee. Meow, what is a melee? Xian looked relaxed, apparently not aware of the severity of the issue. A melee means that all advancing competitors, pet beasts, will be placed in the same area to fight each other, Su Ran explained. You may simultaneously encounter attacks from multiple opponents, but you can also join forces with other pet beasts to fight other pet beasts. Of course, normal one-on-one combat is possible too. In short, all possibilities exist in a melee. Xian, it got it. This is basically a group fight. It often fought when it was roaming around. Although it was often the one being beaten, it has loads of experience. Any pet beast that loses its combat power due to attacks or gives up voluntarily, along with its beast master, will be immediately eliminated. Su Ran paused before continuing. Only the last 4 pet beasts and their beast masters can advance to the next round. As of yesterday, there are a total of 54 contestants who advance from the auditions. That is to say, 50 contestants will be eliminated in this round. As Su Ran's words fell, Xian's expression gradually became serious. This sounds difficult. If we took the scores from the preliminary qualification round as a ranking of pet power, our strength is enough to allow us to advance. Su Ran ruffled Xian's head and began to analyze calmly. But the actual situation may not be as good as it seems. The other contestants likely know our strength is strong. To compete for the remaining 4 places to go to the next round, their approach would probably be meow, to eliminate us first. A spark of human-like contemplation showed in Xian's eyes, followed up Su Ran's words. Correct, you're getting smarter. The recent extra meals haven't been in vain, Su Ran smiled satisfyingly. If I'm not wrong, when the competition starts, other contestants should band together to first eliminate us 4, who have scored over 1,000 in the preliminary round. It's a case of shooting the bird that sticks its head out. Su Ran shook his head helplessly, then suddenly smiled. But if they want to eliminate us, first they'll have to catch up to you. Meow tilde right. Xian raised its head proudly. During these 2 days, it has thoroughly mastered this new skill, electric pursue. The speed at which it could go at full strength was quite shocking. Want to attack it? First, they'll have to catch up to it. While the duo chatted, they had already arrived at the rematch's competition venue. The previous audition site could not meet the needs of a melee battle, so the rematch venue had been moved to a different location. The new site was situated at the Mimic training field in the center of Kingju City. The entire competition area covered a circular region with a 1-kilometer diameter, consisting of desert, forest, swamp, lake, arid land, and other types of terrains. Cameras were secretly installed all over the site to capture the movements of each pet entering. The beast masters would not enter the site with their pets. They would command the battle from a distance using the beast-taming contract. Considering the inconvenience of watching the competition directly, the rematch did not provide a viewing area for spectators, adopting instead an online viewing method. At the entrance to the competition area, over 20 contestants were already standing, with their pet beasts by their side. They were gathered in small groups, whispering something to each other, while occasionally glancing warily at other contestants. As Su Ran arrived, many of the beast masters who recognized him looked over cautiously. However, seeing the bag Su Ran carried on his back, their expressions gradually turned peculiar. During the last knockout round, he pulled a flag with an advertising slogan out of this bag and waved it vigorously in front of the audience to advertise his shop. This time, he wouldn't dare to use that trick again, would he? There aren't any spectators on the scene this time. No matter how hard he waves his flag, the cameras recording the contest definitely won't focus on him for even half a second. They were curious to see how this advertising trickster would advertise this time. Of course, not all contestants recognized Su Ran. The auditions lasted for 3 days, and Su Ran had smoothly advanced on the morning of the first day. Many contestants were not present at that time, and only learned about this legendary person from elsewhere, but they did not know what he looked like. After Su Ran arrived at the waiting area, a short and chubby contestant soon approached him. "Brother, you don't have a team with other contestants. Form a team." Realizing that the short and chubby contestant in front of him did not recognize him, Su Ran shook his head with a smile. "No, have all the other contestants form teams. Yes, the upcoming rematch is a melee, and others won't fight you one-on-one fairly." The chubby man patted Su Ran's shoulder as if he were a complete newbie who didn't understand anything, with a very earnest tone. "Look at the other contestants. They are in groups of 3 to 5. They've already agreed to form temporary teams. If your pet beast enters the competition area alone and encounters their pet beasts, can you fight them all alone? You're not one of those 4 freaks who scored 1,000 in the preliminary round." "You make a good point," Su Ran nodded earnestly. "So, you're suggesting that I should form a team too?" "Correct," the chubby contestant nodded with satisfaction. "My name is Hu Zhang. My strength isn't too bad. How about we form a team? Although your pet beast is tiny, it must be quite good to have passed the auditions. As for my pet beast," Hu Zhang patted the pet beast behind him, which was even taller than he was. "It's an Earth attribute pet beast, a big-mouthed baboon. Do you know it?" "Yes," Su Ran looked at the baboon pet beast standing behind Hu Zhang. It was covered in earthy yellow fur and had an extraordinarily large mouth. Su Ran nodded slightly. "Among the common Earth attribute pet beasts, this race is considered to be middle-upper class. So how do you feel about us forming a team?" Hu Zhang patted Su Ran's shoulder. "Sure," Su Ran responded indifferently. "I won't take advantage of you. Once the other contestants are mostly eliminated, our team will dissolve, and whether or not we can advance will depend on our own abilities." Hu Zhang chuckled. "Let's choose a target now." "By target you mean?" Su Ran paused, confused. "Well, of course I mean those 4 contestants who scored 1,000. Hu Zhang's expression was a bit excited. "We are in competition with other teams, but when facing those 4 freaks, our target is the same. We need to choose one of them to participate in the siege. If those 4 advance, all of us will be eliminated. I think we should go for that advertising trickster. He seems to be a bit weaker. Why are you making that face?" Chapter 68. Are you Su Ran? "No, nothing." Su Ran shook his head, suppressing the odd feelings welling up inside him. Xian, tucked in his arms, had buried her face in the crook of his elbow, trying her hardest to keep her emotions under control lest Hu Zhang caught wind of her panic. "Don't be afraid." That misunderstanding made Hu Zhang believe that Su Ran was feeling worried about the competition. He reassured him. "There's a saying, You can't catch two hares with only one hand. We're all transcendent stage pet beasts, and no matter how strong that conman is, he can't possibly beat all of us. Once we eliminate all four of them, we can rest easy and go about eliminating other teams. Hu Zhang patted his chest. Although only 4 spots are available for advancement, other participants will also receive rewards. The later they are eliminated, the better the reward. If you follow me, Brother Hu, I assure you'll get a great reward. Thank you for that. Su Ran managed to keep his odd feelings under wraps, revealing a warm smile. It's wonderful to have you here. If it weren't for this fellow right in front of him, he would have been completely unaware of just how targeted the 4 of them had become by the other participants. It was absolutely absurd. It's nothing. Hu Zhang laughed, looking around confidently. I see that the other participants are almost ready. The rematch will begin soon. Once all the pet beasts enter the competition area, they have 5 minutes to disperse freely. Once the time is up, the battle royal will begin. Su Ran lifted his head and looked around, indeed seeing more participants trickling in. Apart from himself, he spotted 3 other participants who had scored 1,000 points. The team of Su Xiaoxiao and Duan Angsun stood next to Gu Ling. Apparently Lin Yue hadn't made it to the next round. The sight of Su Ran's attention directed toward them led the 3 girls to glance back and acknowledge him with a nod. As for Liu Guang and Su Jiuju, they stood alone. Their well-known identities meant that everyone knew who they were, making it less likely for others to team up with them. It seemed that the 2 of them had no intentions of fighting together either. The rest of the participants stood in groups of 3 to 5, clearly indicating their team formation. Without any further delays, the host walked briskly over with several staff members responsible for maintaining discipline. Participants, apologies for the wait. The host's face was bright with a friendly smile. The rematch will begin shortly. We will now roll call to ensure that all participants are present. Once that's complete, everyone's pet beasts will enter the competition area. After entering the competition area, pet beasts will have 5 minutes to disperse across the competition field. After 5 minutes, the competition will formally commence. Now let's begin the roll call. The host abruptly pulled out his list of participants. Pei Jin. Present. One of the participants promptly raised his hand to signal his attendance. Guan Ting. Present. As each participant was called, the others began associating names with faces. Right, I think I forgot to ask you. What are you doing? It suddenly occurred to Hu Zhang that he didn't even know the name of his new partner. He turned to ask, then was instantly baffled by what he saw Su Ran doing. Dressing my pet beast. I don't want it to get cold. Su Ran leisurely took out a suitably sized cat outfit from his bag and started dressing Xian. The cat outfit bore clear letters that read, Starfire Foster Care Shop. Meow tilde. Xian squirmed a bit, unfamiliar with the feeling of wearing clothes. However, if it meant attracting more customers to the foster care shop, it was more than willing to bear the discomfort of wearing clothes as a form of advertisement. Hu Zhang's eyes grew wider and wider. He had a feeling that he had heard about this somewhere before. Su Ran. The host's roll call had just reached Su Ran's name. Thus, Hu Zhang watched in disbelief as his new partner calmly raised his hand. Present. You. Hu Zhang's eyes bulged out. He recoiled a step back in shock, staring at his new team member as if he were looking at a ghost. You're Su Ran, that conman. That was all a misunderstanding, Su Ran declared righteously, waving his hand. I run my business fair and square. How can you call me a conman? That's just too much. It's really you. After Su Ran's admission, Hu Zhang gasped in surprise. Recalling how he'd pledged earlier to take down Su Ran in alliance with Su Ran, he had the distinct sensation of wanting to die on the spot from embarrassment. So, are we still teaming up? Su Ran asked with a teasing grin. We are. After only a moment's hesitation, Hu Zhang gritted his teeth and agreed. He could already imagine the severe situation he'd face being part of Su Ran's team, as the other participants closed in on them for an attack. However, at this point, the other participants had already finalized their teams. If he didn't team up with Su Ran, he'd have to fight solo, which would result in his elimination early on anyway. Since things have come to this, he might as well give it a shot. A wise choice. Su Ran patted Hu Zhang's shoulder, reciting an advertising slogan almost reflexively, just like choosing Starfire Foster Care Shop. Hu Zhang. This guy even started advertising to his own teammate. By the way, brother Su, what should we do in the competition? Hu Zhang cleared his throat discreetly, naturally taking up the position of the little brother in the team. Well, Su Ran pondered for a moment before nodding slightly. Your Titano monkey can absorb most of the attacks, while my pet beast will focus on offense. We'll take them down like water dousing fire. Although he jokingly told Xian earlier that the other pet beasts couldn't catch up with her, Su Ran never intended to rely on evasive maneuvering in this competition from the start. The star of today's promotional campaign wasn't him, it was Xian. To have more chances to be on camera, she needed to learn how to steal the spotlight. How to steal the spotlight, of course, through sheer strength. Since the other participants had done so much preparation in order to take them down, they certainly couldn't complain if he wasn't gentle. With his assertive words, Hu Zhang's spirit was immediately invigorated. Okay, Hu Zhang shouted affirmatively, we'll join hands and wipe them all out. As they whispered to each other, the roll call came to an end. All participants had arrived. Now, you can send your pet beasts into the competition area. The host held up a device that looked like opaque swimming goggles. This is an association contract resonance amplifier. It can amplify the connection between the beast master and the pet beast. With its help, beast masters can not only communicate with their pet beasts at any time, but also obtain their pet beast's field of view and some perception, achieving the effect of remote command. Once they wear it, you can direct your pet beasts in battle without having to see them. After the pet beasts enter the arena, the participants should come up on stage in an orderly manner to receive their contract resonance amplifiers. Good luck, Su Ran stroked Xian's head gently, encouraging her quietly. Meow Tilda, watch me shine. Realizing that it finally had a chance to show off its electric pursuit, Xian was quite excited. She lightly jumped from Su Ran's arms to the ground, gave a glance to the Titano monkey, then let out a light call to get it to keep up with her pace. Although much larger than Xian, the Titano monkey was obviously on its best behavior, sensing a powerful aura from Xian. It followed Xian obediently like a sidekick, walking into the competition area with her. Chapter 69, Can you advertise this way? Well, after putting on the contract resonance amplifier and experiencing the novelty of sharing vision with Xian, Su Ran couldn't help but exclaim, this thing is really convenient. Although this amplifier produces great results, it still has many limitations. If the beast master and the pet beast are more than a kilometer away from each other, it can't be used. Hu Zhang, who also wore an amplifier, explained, this is why the competition venue has a diameter of 1 kilometer. Moreover, it requires the use of a special resource, which is not small in consumption. Hu Zhang spread out his hands. It said that after the contract power reaches the 4th stage, such an amplifier is not necessary. The beast master can share the pet beast's vision without any distance limit. That gives me another reason to practice hard, Su Ran smiled. Where should we position ourselves? Hu Zhang asked. The electric stone vein, Su Ran answered without hesitation. He had already studied the different terrains within the competition area. This electric stone vein prepared for thunder attribute pet beasts, full of conductive plasma, any thunder attribute skills could be amplified. It was the most suitable environment for Xian's combat. As for the earth attribute big mouth monkey, as long as it was on the ground, it could be amplified, just varying in degree. Okay, Hu Zhang nodded, agreeing with Su Ran's choice of area. After the two informed Xian and Big Mouth Monkey of their destination, the beasts quickly found the electric stone vein location via guidance. The electric stone vein was a raised mound terrain, without any vegetation on the bare ground, and all visible were pieces of purple crystal interspersed in the rock, which were fused unmined electric stones. Crackle! The moment the two beasts entered the area, the stable plasma all around began to stir. Tiny electric arcs emerged out of thin air before quickly dissipating. Xian seemed quite comfortable, being so widely familiar with this sort of free-floating thunder force. And the big mouth monkey, although somewhat uncomfortable, the earth attribute repressed thunder, so it wouldn't be affected too much by this force. The two beasts soon found a suitable stronghold after familiarizing themselves with their environment. Many teams had their eyes on Su Ran, their beasts following Xian, soon appearing near the electric stone vein. Seeing the terrain chosen by Xian, their faces turned serious. They quietly surrounded the electric stone vein and occupied positions. The other three contestants also encountered similar situations. As time ticked away, the 5 minutes of free dispersal ended soon. In a moment, the rematch will officially begin. The host looked at the 54 beast masters wearing amplifiers, bracing themselves, and slowly said, "As the rematch begins, we will connect the live broadcast and start the streaming. So now let's count down 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sitting in front of the TV, watching the countdown numbers suddenly disappear on the black screen, Tan Yue vigorously raised his hand. "I want to see how you, this con artist, promote your advertisement today." 3 days ago in the auditions, he was certain that Su Ran chose to battle against the Earth attribute pet beast, the type he was weak against, as an excuse for his own defeat. As a result, he was completely blown away. Since then, Tan Yue had become one of Su Ran's haters. He had posted many threads on the forum denouncing Su Ran for his promotional activities. Upon learning about the high prices of Starfare Foster Care Shop, he was ecstatic. He posted threads referring to Su Ran as a con artist. The title Su Ran had acquired had quite a bit to do with him. Upon learning that the rematch format was changed to a live broadcast, Tan Yue was thrilled. Under live conditions, the broadcaster would surely focus the camera on the best-performing pet beast, not the beast master outside the competition area. In this way, it was impossible for Su Ran to wave his flag and be seen like before. Thinking of Su Ran's attempts to promote but failing miserably, Tan Yue felt genuinely pleased. Before long, the host's voice came from the live picture. "Hello viewers in front of the TV, this is the rematch of the new Beast Master Challenge match. At the moment, our 54 contestants in the designated area command their pet beasts remotely through the contract resonance amplifier they have on." The live picture cut to the players, and the first thing Tan Yue noticed was Su Ran. Seeing him carrying the same bag as last time but not taking out the flag, a smug expression appeared on Tan Yue's face. The darn fellow was finally punished. As the rematch begins, let's see how the 54 pet beasts are doing. As soon as the host's voice fell, the picture quickly cut through each of the 54 pet beasts. When the image of Xian flashed across the TV screen, Tan Yue's expression froze for a moment. He instinctively rubbed his eyes. Just now, it seemed like something shocking flashed before his eyes. Since the picture was moving too quickly, he didn't get a chance to see clearly. But for some reason, Tan Yue had an ominous feeling. Contestant Liu Guang is in a tough situation. The host's voice suddenly rose, and at the same time, the live image was switched to Liu Guang's combat bear apprentice. A total of 8 pet beasts have surrounded the combat bear apprentice. The combat bear apprentice chose not to resist, and is trying to break out using the complex features of the chosen forest environment. It's making a move. The combat bear apprentice has made a move. 2-star skills, Starlight level Wave Fist. Combat bear apprentice knocks down Zhang He's chameleon with a punch and successfully breaks out. It chose to leave without entangling with other pet beasts. Chameleon falls out of the fight. Zhang He is the first to be eliminated. That punch SSS, Tan Yue couldn't help but gasp. The picture pauses on the figure of the combat bear apprentice escaping. Then it quickly switches to a huge white wolf appearing on the screen. Its speed was so fast that it left only an afterimage, blooming flowers of frost on the glacier terrain. Contestant Sujiuju also encountered a collective attack from other contestants, but Sujiuju's frost dust wolf is so fast. That's a 2-star skill, Starlight level Frost Flower Path. The other contestants' pet beasts can't stop it at all. "Amazing," Tan Yue praised as he watched. "This frost dust wolf is really cool." As the dispute situation at Sujiuju's site ended, the live picture jumped again, and a massive black dragon, about 2 meters tall, appeared on the screen. It fought against 6 others on its own, defeating them with an invincible momentum. Beside it was a flame fox pulsating with fire and a colorful cloud parrot enveloped in colorful lights. The 3 pet beasts stood on the same battle line. Contestant Guling found 2 powerful helpers. Other contestants gave up on their collective attack. They chose to retreat temporarily. Now, let's see the situation with contestant Su Ran. In the next moment, the picture switched to Xian. This time Tan Yue saw Xian's clothes clearly. His eyes widened, and he weakly slumped onto the couch. Even like this, you can still advertise. Chapter 70, Who's Going to Stop Him? Su Ran was completely unaware of the stir his breach of defense was causing among those in front of the TV. At this moment, through Xian's vision, he saw the adversaries closing in on him. A strange look flickered across his face. 16. Why so many? Hu Zhang, not quite staying calm, wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Brother Su, why do you attract such animosity? Maybe they think I'm an easy target. Su Ran smiled casually. Hu Zhang's face turned somewhat embarrassed. Initially, he too had viewed it that way. Let them see what we're made of. Su Ran's voice took on an invigorating tone, and he yelled, "Attack us all together." At these words, all the other competitors in the area turned to look at him. Organizing their pet beasts to encircle the 4,000-point competitors, it was very awkward for them to realize that those 4 competitors were right beside them, and they, the beast masters who were commanding in battle, were in the same area. This somehow gave a feeling of face-to-face plotting, especially when the pet beasts did not hide their identities, and who was taking action against whom was obvious at a glance. It was awkward. To avoid the awkwardness, they unanimously didn't look at each other, focusing their gazes on the direction of the competition area instead. Yet Su Ran went the unconventional route, not only being openly confrontational but outright provocative. For a moment, the expressions of the beast master who commanded the pet beasts to surround Xian changed. Altogether, that's what you said. Well, then we're not holding back. One of the competitors was quite straightforward in their response. He immediately commanded his pet beast to make a move. Although the other competitors didn't reply verbally, their commands were equally swift. Various attacks erupted from the air and the ground, targeting Xian and the big mouth ape who were surrounded. Brother Su, Hu Zhang's voice had a trace of anxiety. Have big mouth ape protect itself. Su Ran spoke in a low voice while instructing Xian through the air. Use electric pursue, show them some colors. Meow tilde. Xian's eyes, besieged by numerous attacks, flickered with anticipation. Such an attack. It's not even as good as the customized attack in the training field. It took a slow step forward. Endless purple thunderbolt erupted from its limbs, instantly turning its purple claws into pure elements of thunder. Crackle zap. The sound of the electric arc piercing through the air became sharper, like a giant stone thrown into a lake. The diffused plasma in the air caused numerous jumping electric flashes. An energy wind rose up from beneath Xian's feet, spinning and lifting the plasma in the air. In a blink, it became a tangible thunderstorm which swirled rapidly around Xian. In the next instant, Xian's form disappeared from its original spot, appearing in front of a white horse with a single horn and a pair of wings on its back. This was the wind steppe horse, a considerably dominant pet beast species among the wind attribute. At this moment, this child of the storm was paralyzed by the electric arcs that were unnoticeably permeating its surroundings. It could do nothing more than stand and watch Xian's paw, wholly transformed into an elemental form, descend upon it. Frenzied dancing electric flashes suddenly emerged from the body of the wind steppe horse. It fell slowly to the ground, writhing in agony, as its snow-white fur was scorched black by the electricity. Boom! Continuous loud noises echoed behind Xian. This was the late arrival of the combined attack from numerous pet beasts, which only landed after the wind steppe horse fell, at the spot where Xian initially was. 2-star skill, Starlight level electric pursue. Xian's move stunned all the pet beasts and their respective competitors, who saw the whole process through their pet beasts' visions. So strong. Hu Zhang's eyes widened in surprise, his breath quickened a bit. I hit the jackpot. He sharply turned his head, looking at the calm expression on Su Ran's face. He suddenly felt a sense of profound respect. I, Brother Su, am too terrifying. Su Ran neglected Hu Zhang, and after the killing blow from Xian, he quickly reminded it, Xian, don't forget to advertise. Oh right, advertise. Xian, immersed in her killing power, snapped back to reality, quickly located the hidden camera as it looked around. It twisted its body, positioning the words Starfair Foster Care Shop on its clothes in the most conspicuous place, striking an elegant pose. Meow tilde, Starfair Foster Care Shop trustworthy. Tan Yue collapsed on the sofa, staring at the 5 eye-catching characters on the screen, feeling as though Su Ran slapped him in the face again across the distance. Even though no one was around, he still felt an unprecedented sense of shame. It's too much. It's too much. You still have so many opponents and you dare to flaunt, Tan Yue muttered spitefully. Complacency means death for you. However, the moment his words fell, Xian's figure disappeared again. With a cry of horror, another pet beast was defeated by Xian's ghostly speed. Seeing Xian twist its body and aim those 5 characters at the screen once again, Tan Yue felt as if thunder was rumbling in his head. He took a deep breath, took out his cell phone and dialed a number. I don't believe that the competition organizer would allow you to advertise like this. I'm going to file a complaint against you. What are you guys doing? Inside the director's room, responsible for live broadcast signal transmission, a bald, middle-aged leader angrily burst in. Why did that guy openly insert advertisements in the competition? He didn't even pay for the advertisement. He was already criticized for advertising during the auditions, and this time it's a live broadcast. This is a major broadcasting incident. Where's the director? Why didn't you cut the screen? Leader, the young director stood up in confusion. You don't know I want to cut the screen too. But the most exciting performance in the whole game is from this side. With a helpless look, he pointed to the large screen displaying all the pet beast's conditions. How is that possible? The bald leader widened his eyes, pushed away the director. Let me see. Glancing over the screen, he saw the combat bear apprentice practicing martial arts in the jungle, the frost dust wolf lounging on an iceberg, waiting to throw off any offenders, the dark scale dragon waiting for other pet beasts to fight. Then looking at Xian, who was in the thick of the fight, the bald leader fell silent. Cunning guy, the bald leader gritted his teeth. Can't you blur him out? Well, the assistant director timidly spoke up. The pet beast is covered in ads. If we blur it out, we'll have to blur the beast as well. The bald leader fell silent again. Blur out the contestants' pet beasts. Wouldn't the audience scold us? You. Just as the bald leader was about to say something, the director's excited voice came from beside him. The surrounding pet beasts are retreating. We can switch screens now. Then switch. No can do. Suran's pet beast is following them. It's gone berserk. Bald leader. Damn it, can't anyone stop this guy from advertising? Chapter 71, Launch Thoughts with Easter Egg. Frivolous Beast-Tamer will officially be released at 0000 on August 21, and readers are welcome to subscribe to the Genuine Book on Kidian Chinese Network /Kidian Reading app. After lots of twists and turns, it's again time to decide my fate. Every time I start a new book, I get very nervous, checking the collection count dozens to hundreds of times a day, and frequently asking the editor about the reading situation. No matter whether the results are growing or not, I dare not slack off until the book is on the shelf. The nervousness is even greater when the performance of my last book was not good. Luckily, the performance of this book is somewhat better than I expected. Unlike Gourmet Beast-Tamer, that had the unreasonable advantage of 2,000 follower readers from Beast Envoy, due to seamless transition after completion, there are still many old book friends who have stayed with me, propping up the initial data of this book. Although it didn't win the little loudspeaker, Sanjiang's launch is considered to have received full recommendation. Let's talk about what you all care about, which is the update of this book. The first 70 chapters are free trial chapters, with 2,000 words per chapter. VIP chapters will be changed to 4,000 words per chapter, and the single chapter subscription original price is 20 coins. This is charged according to the word number, not the author's price. After the launch, the basic update is 2 a day, which is 8,000 a day. Adding 1 more for each league can be repeated. Gourmet Beast-Tamer owes 23 league leaders additional updates, which will be made up in this book. This book currently has 2 silver leagues and 1 league leader, owing a total of 44 updates. So after the book is launched, there will be 3 updates a day, a total of 12,000 per day, until the promised additional updates are fulfilled. I hope to earn everyone a cup of milk tea in a month without scaring everyone away. Then let's chat about some plot direction issues. Since the book's release, there have been many calls for shape-shifting. I remember when Beast Envoy was just started, it was like this. Later, when readers found out that Kyukyu was a male cat, the calls just got louder. Simply put, this book will have no female protagonist, and there will be no situation where the pet beast transforms into a human. There won't be, at least in the main text. Of course, I also know that some readers really want to see the shape-shifting, so many readers are confused about the attributes of this book. In simple terms, the attribute settings of this book are based on the water, fire, earth, and wind system, not the 5-element system. So here, the earth attribute corresponds to earth with both metal and wood included, and the wind attribute corresponds to sky. In addition, there will be a class change-like setting in the attribute in the later stage. There will be new things then, such as the time and space that some readers have mentioned, so please look forward to it. After the special skill, King's Power, exclusive to the king species, was thrown out, many old readers began to guess whether there would be Imperial Field like Envoy. Yes, but not the Imperial Field, it is some cooler setup still, please look forward to it. Last but not least, thanks for the chapter push. By QN and Highs, I'm no trainer. Yang Xiaorong's no, a gentleman also needs protection. Swimming Crow S, who made him cultivate immortality. Time in the Courtyard S, rebirth daily cultivation. Jiego S, peninsular prosecutor. Hufei Huiyu S, establishing a 1,000-year-old family starting from Wu Wang's conquest of Zhou. Back in the Rain S, falling in love after simulation. KM Engines, only after rebirth did I realize I have a childhood sweetheart. Usually met Rain in West Lakes, chief astrologer of Ming Dynasty. Rippling Spring Sounds, king of beast-tamer. Special thanks to Quanquenzi for the advice on beast-taming. I learned something new every time I chat about writing books with him. Chapter 72, 71 time is still early, why don't we? Please subscribe. Silence. The contestants' area is completely silent. Listening to the host saying with fervor, contestant Su Ran has single-handedly eliminated 10 contestants. He and his pet beast have gone berserk. The surrounding contestants felt an unprecedented regret. Damn it, why is this guy so strong? During the initial selection round, he didn't seem to be playing so outrageously. Could it be that he was hiding his abilities? Yes, that must be it. Even Liu Guang, Su Jiuju, and Gu Ling couldn't help but turn their heads in Su Ran's direction. Obviously, they were also slightly shocked by Su Ran defeating one contestant after another. This guy is this strong. Their anticipation was not only for the current rematch, but also for the semifinals and finals in the near future. They might be the ones who will have to face Su Ran then. Brother Su, you rock. If anyone in the room was most excited, it would probably be Hu Zhang, who somehow ended up forming a team with Su Ran. With such a strong ally, he wouldn't need to aim for promotion to the next round, but his elimination ranking would certainly be much higher, meaning the competition rewards would be more generous. He was genuinely in a comfortable situation. No, he needed to show some support. Brother Su, have a drink. He quickly handed his Coca-Cola to Su Ran. Thank you. Su Ran unceremoniously took it, drinking while sighing inwardly. It's a pity that he couldn't eliminate all the contestants. After being defeated by Xian consecutively 3 times, the Beast Masters reacted quickly, directing their pet beasts to flee in different directions. Even with Xian's amazing speed, it was unrealistic to chase all the pet beasts in a full circle. He barely caught 7 and let 6 get away. The sigh he heaved wasn't due to the decrease in the number of eliminated contestants. It was because, as expected, the live broadcasting had probably switched the channel to the other contestant's pet beast. To steal the spotlight requires technical skills. You should take a rest, he comforted Xian through the air in the competition area, who was somewhat despondent, and he praised its performance. This fight had a great advertising effect. Meow tilde, really. The joy instantly filled Xian's eyes, and its morale got boosted. If the advertising effect was great, more clients would come. Having more clients meant its new skills and upgrades would be achieved. Of course, Su Ran smiled. After that burst earlier, you must have depleted a lot of stamina. After you recover to your peak, we can start Plan B. Meow, Plan B. Xian tilted its head, looking slightly puzzled. Plan B means we'll attack first, Su Ran patiently explained. This is a live broadcast after all. The more exciting the battle, the more attention we'll get. Now that the other contestants know we're strong and avoid battling us, what should we do? Of course, we should take initiative in attacking them. Meow tilde, I see. Xian quickly caught on, and the will to fight erupted in its eyes. Initiate fights with other contestants. It likes that. Xian turned and walked to the area where the Thunder Force was the strongest, tucked its paws into its chest, laid down, and started to recover its own strength fast. Big Mouth Gorilla quick. Seeing this, Hu Zhang realized that this was his chance to stand out. Roar! The Big Mouth Gorilla stood up straight with its huge body and walked towards Xian. It then sat down beside it and started watching the surroundings menacingly. None of you can touch my big brother. After a quarter of an hour, Xian slowly stood up. A stroke of purple lightning flashed through its heterochromatic eyes. One by one, electric arcs erupted from its body, hopping around the surrounding space. Its strength had been restored to its peak. Hu Zhang, I recall the big-mouth gorilla has a skill called Earthquake Wave, right? Su Ran turned his head and looked at Hu Zhang. Earth attribute 1-star skill, Earthquake Wave. Using the vibrations of the earth to detect the situation within a large range, it was akin to sonar. Correct? Hu Zhang nodded and his expression immediately changed. You mean to? We should initiate the attack while using your earthquake wave to detect the movements of other contestants. Su Ran slowly spoke out his thought. Hu Zhang wasn't aware of his earlier communication with Xian through contractual sensing. When he heard Su Ran's proposal, he was first startled by the bold idea, but when considering Xian's strong combat power, he felt stirred. Brilliant! Eliminating one more contestant meant a higher ranking for him. Instead of waiting for others to eliminate each other, it was better to take the initiative to end this fight quickly. More importantly, while Su Ran's pet beast was showing off its prowess, his big-mouth gorilla felt left out because it only stood by and applauded. This time, letting the big-mouth gorilla handle the detection would increase its sense of participation. Let's do it. Hu Zhang nodded vigorously and then issued new instructions to the big-mouth gorilla. Roar! Within the competition area, the big-mouth gorilla nodded to Xian and then jumped to a relatively flat area. It stomped hard with its feet, its thick feet entirely buried in the earth. Simultaneously, it slapped the ground with both palms, also burying them in the earth. Right after, the big-mouth gorilla closed its eyes. One after another, earth-colored halos like ripples emanated from its limbs, drawing clear light circles on the ground and constantly spreading out towards afar until they reached the end of the sight line. 1-star skill, Stardust level Earthquake Wave. This skill was not used frequently in actual combat due to its lengthy casting gestures, but its applications in everyday life were quite broad.